Ayo. Good afternoon, Jordan. Good afternoon. How are you? Right. Who's ready for F1 today? Thoughts on a monster curse? I hope it's true, Marlin. I hope it's in full effect today. Won't lie to you. Be nice to have a different winner, wouldn't it? It would be nice to have a different winner for once this season. Right, where am I? I'm just trying to sort out some stuff. For some reason, the live timing hasn't gone live yet, so I can't actually bring up. So I can't actually bring that up yet, which is odd. Normally, you can bring it up already. Strange one. Albon for the win. Imagine the scenes, guys. Imagine the scenes. Oh. Then Seb keeps his record. He does. Well, yeah, joint record, isn't it? It'd be a joint record between them both. So, hey, Ram. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Mark. Why has it not gone live yet? That's quite odd. Normally you can go straight into the race. Odd one. Signs for the win today. The signs Leclerc Russell. That's what you predicting. Yeah. I mean, you still can't look past Max, to be perfectly honest. I think they've got a little bit more downforce. They seem to have better race pace. The thing is with Ferrari is that obviously they're running a lower downforce setup, so they're quicker in a straight line. They've got a newer power unit, but obviously that's going to mean more tyre wear in the corners. So we'll see. We'll see how the race unfolds. My issue is that if Max gets in, Max will just wait it out. He'll wait for the pit stops and he'll just breeze away with the lap time that he can do in clean air, and then the Ferraris just won't be able to make up enough time down the straights in the corners, like to get in that DRS to truly overtake him and cause him issues. But who knows? We've been wrong before, and I'm hoping I'm wrong again this time around. If it is, someone should place best. Well, Carlos Sainz, I did see is 6-1 today. He is 6-1. I know, Dutch. I know. This weekend, I've been collared into. Obviously, we just moved into a new flat. I got roped into going into IKEA yesterday, and then yesterday evening, I spent my whole Saturday evening putting together a new TV cabinet. So, yes, I did intend to do an F1 race last night. I got taken away from it. So this evening I plan on doing another one. It'll be my only one of this week, so I do intend on doing that. Max is just being channeled, but without the benefit of nasty grimaces. Probably. Yeah, I see you've raced there this week, Dutch. Mark, sorry. 5 to 6 hours? No, actually. No. Just a 3. Right, I am confused what is happening right now with my live timings. Like, why are they not gone? Yes, there it is. Bosh. If in doubt, refresh, eh? But yeah, no, I put a TV cabinet yesterday, and then after this is done, this stream, I've got to put up a chest of drawers And I'm hoping I can get... That shouldn't take me 4 hours to do. So I'm hoping I can get that done and be clear to race this evening. It is to be fair, but you know what? You have to do things sometimes, don't you? I did want a new TV cabinet. I just didn't think it would take me that long to put together. It's quite a big TV cabinet, so. Right, I'm just setting up the live timings, guys, and we should be able to change scene so that you don't just have to look at my ugly mug. Everyone seems to be on the grid okay. Right, let's change scene. Here we go. Everyone ready for another Verstappen win? Just ran into a Ferrari Fanatec store in NL. Maybe it's a sign. Oh, I always change the wrong scene. Sorry, guys. Hang on. No! All over the gaff. There we go. Right, let's sort this out. I can actually sort it out now. Sorry about those brief technical issues. Let's make that larger. Let's move that across. There we go. Shouldn't need many tyres today because it's always a one-stop race, pretty much, Monza. So, there we go. Bosh. Ready. Strap medium to soft. I prefer that over hard medium, but I could hold the tyres till lap 36. What in the tour race? Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do today. Actually, we'll see. I might do hard softs. I think that might be the strap, but we will see. We'll see. Oh no, I'm going the wrong way there. Make this wider. Come on, come on, come on. And then we'll have a look at the Pirelli pit stop strategies. Who's got what tyre allocations? Because that could come into effect today in the race. I think strategy is going to be a big thing here this weekend. Because as we know, Monza, while it's obviously a very quick track and there's lots of long straights here, people tend to get into a DRS train. So the undercut is powerful. We fast in 2025, 5, 26 one times. Piece of piss, Dutch. Piece of piss. Famous last words. You can clip that for later on. Next week, we'll run a sister show to cooking with marijuana and have people building IKEA bits while higher. Nothing would get done. Right, so let's have a look at the strategy for today. So, as we just said, is basically a one-stop. So I'm not moving all of the track map here, guys. That can remain where it is. But Jesus, that was the loudest motorcycle that we just went past. One-stop strategy. They say in a two-stop, but no one really takes this two-stop unless they kind of get damage. It's going to be a medium to hard or a soft to hard. The thing is here is that the undercut is powerful. Last year, a couple of guys, as we said, in the DRS train pitted, and they made some real headway. I think Perez was the biggest winner from that last year. Obviously, he was in a much quicker car. So that's a strategy. And then we've got the tyre allocation. So tyre allocation. I read Alex Albon down here, which you can't quite see, guys. Let me just move the chat. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will move this out of the way. Alex Albon is the only driver on the grid only driver in the top 10 who doesn't have a new set of tyres available to him. Lando Norris and Piastri have a set of mediums. Gasly has obviously mediums there. Russell, intriguing enough, is that Russell and Hamilton don't have any brand new set of hard tyres available to them. Sainz, Leclerc, Perez and Verstappen have a brand new set of hard tyres and a set of mediums as well. That's intriguing. So Mercedes going to be starting on the medium tyre, going to softs. Don't know what their strategy is there today. Lawson has a set of brand new softs available to him. So does Sonoda. Sargent has 2 new sets of softs that may come into play as well. Well, Stroll's starting 20th, isn't he? Yeah. Should be an intriguing one up front. I'm intrigued to see what the guys at the front start on. I wonder if the Ferraris might start on the softs, or they're going to start on the brand new set of mediums. I think they'll start on the brand new set of mediums and go for the medium to what the primary stop that they said was a medium to hard around lap 20 to 26 compared to the softs on lap 14. So we'll see. Tyres are softer than last year. Yes, 1 step, aren't they? So is a 2-stop likely? No, not on Monza. There's not enough tyre degradation. It's just not enough deg. Monza's obviously got very few corners, just high-speed braking zones. The tyres that are... So you get... It's a bit of a weird track, to be fair. It's not a weird track, but it's a track where there's a couple of corners, so turn 6 and turn 7, the 2 Lesmos, are where the front left takes the punishment. So you do need to look after your front tyres through those corners. And then the rest of the track is all about rear tyres. And turn 11. So you've got 6, 7 and 11 is all about the front left. That's what takes the punishment. So you need to be careful of that degrading. And then it's the rear limited in the obviously slower corners where you want to get the power down. So you have to be careful on traction, but you don't take too much tyre life out of your rear tyres. And that's kind of what the prediction is today for Ferrari. The worry for Ferrari is that they're just going to eat their tyres a lot more with that lower downforce setup than Red Bull, who are running a little bit more downforce. So it's going to be an intriguing matchup. We'll see how the race unfolds. Is soft, medium, soft worthwhile? No. No, there's not enough corners for them to make up that much of a difference, and because of the rear, because of like how quick they are going, especially through turn 11, 6 and 7, the soft tyres just don't last too long. I could be wrong because Pirelli tyres have lasted forever this year, but what is it? It's a track temperature of 42.8 degrees. No, it's probably going to medium to hard, unless there's unless a safety car comes in and throws a spanner in the works. So why does lower downforce eat more tyres? Because your car slides around more. So the car isn't as planted, which means that the car is sliding across the surface or the tyre surface more than what it would be with a higher downforce car. So yeah, I get your sentiment there, but yeah, lower downforce means that the car moves around a lot, which means that the contact patch is a lot more movement in the tyre than it being consistent if it was in more downforce. Verstappen has a clear track behind the Ferraris. He might stop early, all back clear. I agree. I'm worried today that Max will just be patient, not worry about turn 1 so much. I think he'll just be patient. He'll wait for that clean air, whenever that is, whether that's an undercut, whether that's an overcut when the Ferraris pit, and he'll be able to make up that time difference on the Ferraris. And by the time the first round of pit stops are done, he'll have too much of an advantage, especially in the corners, for the Ferraris to be able to catch up to him. You were starting on the hards yourself. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'll jump on and do a bit of practice later. But yeah, from what the chat is in the Discord, the hard tyre is the better choice over the medium. But we'll see. I think a lot of F1 fans do, Caleb. I think just for F1 in general, we want a new winner, don't we? Mercs could do soft, medium, soft, worthwhile. There's not enough. it's not a track where you can just make up enough time, and it's a long pit stop here as well. So the pit stop loss is, that's why normally it's a one stop round here. It's one, the deg or the lack of deg, and also the fact that the pit stop is long. I think it's like 25 seconds or something. It's one of the longest on the calendar. So hey Ram, good to see you, buddy. Had to say, especially when it's Ferrari that need to do it right, it will come down to strategy today. Yeah, we'll see. It depends. They might be surprising on their tyre deck, but the long runs in practice didn't look promising for them. After today, you don't care. Yeah, you want him to break a record. I'll get that. Right, guys, I'm just going to have a quick coffee break. I'm going to go grab myself a coffee, grab myself some water, and then, yeah, by the time I've done that, it's only, I'll literally be like 2 minutes, by the way. And then, yeah, we're only not far away from the race starting. Hey, you too. Good to see you. I'll be back in 2 minutes, guys. Just gonna make my coffee. Oh. Oh. Right. Risk of rain, guys. 0%. So we're not going to have Zandvoort. How long do they go? We have, obviously, race starts on the hour, so we have just under 10 minutes, guys. Just under. So, hey, Danny boy. How's it going, mate? Nothing but the best here, mate. Nothing but the best. Hope you're well, mate. Right, so... What was I looking at? I can't remember what I was looking at. I was about to do something. I cannot remember for the life of me what I wanted to look at. That's it. The poll. The poll. So let's have a look at her. So 47 of you have voted. 55% of you still think Verstappen is going to win today. Next best is Sainz on 19 and Leclerc on 15. Ooh. Intriguing. Yeah, I think... Yeah, I'm hoping that Leclerc can launch Max. That's what I'm hoping. I'm just hoping, ideally, the Ferraris will jump straight to the front and hopefully be able to work together. The problem is with Ferrari... I mean, Leclerc is going to attack Sainz, isn't he? That's the problem. I think. Leclerc will want to win here. But ultimately, their fight is not against each other today. Their fight is against Max. They need to work together to be able to secure a win. That's got to be the main game today. They've got to be team players. If they try and think of themselves... and start fighting, they're just going to fall into Max's hands. And I've just got a feeling that might happen. Insert Ferrari clown meme. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if I was the Ferrari team principal, I would be reading them the riot act. This morning, last night, now, telling them, you like guys are not racing each other today. You're not. You're racing Max. We need to get a win for Ferrari and break this run that Red Bull and particularly Max are on. At our home circuit where we've got the Tifosi and the Italian media are going to be all over this with the hype yesterday. Got to be. There's got to be team orders. There's got to be. The internal ghost of Joss from winning. Well, the Monza curse is real, guys. The last 4 years we've had, obviously the previous winner has then failed to finish next year's race. Still a possibility. So it's been a long time coming if there happens to be a fight between the Ferraris. Yeah, but now's not the time for them to fight. It really isn't. I agree, Dan. I'm just hope. This is more me speaking of hope than anything. This is me wanting to see a fight today, and it's essential for Leclerc to try and launch Verstappen down into T1. Whether it means... I think Leclerc has to be aggressive. Whether if it means he pushes Verstappen out. Like, they've got to go for that risk. They've got to today. Ferrari cannot play nice. They have to be dirty. They have to be on the border of what is legal, probably, when it comes to moves. And treat Max at his own game. If it means launching it down the inside and they shove him off. So that they can get a bit of a lead and at least, like, try something. Truth to be told, Max is a reverse hammer in a way. His challenge is far. Person who wins the first race of the season loses the championship, and Verstappen broke like a... Yeah, exactly, yeah. He'll probably break this one as well, to be honest. Oh, so not long to go, guys. We will have we're less than 5 minutes until the race starts, so not long until we see the tyre covers come off and see what those guys are running strategy wise. Let's see. Oh gosh, so blue. Yeah, see what they're doing. I'm intrigued to see if anyone decides to start on the soft tyre. I wonder if Ferrari might split their strategy and start Leclerc on the soft compared to Verstappen, who will most likely start on the medium, same as Sainz. I think that would be wrong. I just don't think the Ferraris have the pace to to try and do an alternate strategy today and mix things up with Max. I think Max would be just quite happy to let Leclerc wear his soft tyres down while he's on the mediums if he does get ahead of him. If it's on the mediums, however, it's a different story. I'm not sure, Mark. Perez used one yesterday, which was within his allocation. They're probably on the limit. They're probably not long until they have to do one. Hey, Jam, good to see you, buddy. I must admit, it's the most excited I've been probably all season for a race. Like, genuinely. I've lost a lot of enthusiasm for it this year because it was quite evident quite quickly that Max was in a league of his own and just gonna drive off with the championship. And I've tried to keep up to date with obviously what's going on with the cars behind in the midfield and that. And if you take Max out of the equation, we've got probably the best F1 championship in history. But because it's so tight. Oh, here we go. Hamilton on the hard tyre. Oh. So they're throwing... For 2 weeks in a row, Mercedes are going for an alternate strategy with Hamilton being slightly out of position and trying the overcut. No rain, of course, this weekend. So there's no rain to come in the way of that overcut. So the hard tyre will work. But intriguing that Hamilton's going to try and do the overcut on those in front, I assume, and try and get some clean air and overtake them. Interesting. Will it work? I don't know. But at least they're trying something different, I guess. Hamilton probably not confident enough in the car this weekend and thinking about doing something different in strategy to make up some positions. Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc, those top 7, or everyone in the top 10 starting on the medium tyre. The only others on the hard tyre are Magnussen and Bottas there. So, but intriguing there is that Albon has 3 lap old medium tyres compared to everyone else around him, other than Hamilton, is on a fresh set of mediums. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see what this race has in store for us. Intriguing with Hamilton, though. Keeps it out of trouble. Could be a masterstroke. But I would have thought, that's the thing. I would have thought the undercut would have been better, but who knows? You missed my kitchen streams. I've upgraded since then, mate. I'm now in my 2nd flat. So, moving up in the world. Much better, mate. Much better, yeah. I mean, the old flat, you know what happens when you're in like a rented flat? The things that you overlooked when you first moved in, after 3 years, you're fed up with it. And it was like it wasn't a purpose-built flat. It was an old renovation from offices. So, yeah, it was. It's nice to be in a flat now, which is purpose-built, a lot cooler, a lot roomier, and yeah, love it, mate. Me and the missus love it. It's nice to be able to actually make something yours as well. Like your home, do what you want with it. Obviously rented, you're a bit limited. Hey, busy. Yeah, I think that's the problem, and I think like as much as like there has been good racing in the midfield, ultimately we want to watch a fight for the championship. I know I do, at least, even though I'm like a more enthusiastic F1 fan, a motorsport fan than others. I do want to see fights for the win. I don't care too much about the fight for 4th place or the podium. Like we want the championship. That's what matters, and then ultimately that's what the neutral cares about as well. I think is about like the casual F1 fan. They want to see about the championship. Otherwise, you just see comments everywhere of people going, "Oh, it's boring again. F1's boring again." So. Are you streaming it, Dan? Yeah, if you're streaming it, then it'll be slightly behind. This is always... I mean, my stream, what I've got here is Sky. on my phone, and that is always like a good 30 seconds behind what happens here, which actually works out quite well for the stream because it's almost like a replay aspect. We obviously commentate on what's happening here. We see what happens on the track map, and then we're able to see the exact details. And I'm able to report it to you guys shortly afterwards. Red Bull reliability is insane this season. I know, Luca. It is phenomenal that not one of their cars, unless Perez has binned it, has had a mechanical issue. Max has had his little moans and niggles of certain things, but nothing that has made them retire the car. I mean, to be fair, it was similar with Mercedes as well. Hamilton went on an insane streak of not having any retirements in the Mercedes. I think like post Malaysia, like a mechanical issue anyway. Like Mercedes' reliability through their dominance was supreme, and that's what makes them so dominant as well. There's no way for other teams to pick up the scraps. Their strategy is brilliant. Their pit stops are brilliant. Their car's super quick with a super quick driver. How is anyone supposed to compete with that? So, but yeah, let's see. There's still plenty of races left to go. Sainz and Ferrari have done the job thus far by putting it on pole and beating the dominant Max at a very, very quick circuit. So let's see what occurs, guys. So we are only just a couple of, well, probably about 30 seconds away as they line up on the grid, spinning their tyres, trying to get temperature in them. Of course, this circuit, not a lot of corners here for tyre warm-up. So that could be the cars that have struggled in the past with tyre warm-up may struggle here earlier on. But yeah, let's see what happens down into T1. Tsunoda's going very slow there. Is that just a delay on the track map? Or is he actually broken down? Tsunoda's actually got an issue, guys. Tsunoda has got an issue. I think there might be a delayed start here. There's going to be a delayed start here. The race report here is that everyone is saying that Tsunoda has had issue on his way round to the grid. Aborted start, correct. So Tsunoda has had a breakdown before the race has even started there, and the race has been aborted, or race start has. Just waiting for TV coverage to see exactly what that mechanical issue is and what he is reporting. So they're going to do another lap, but I'll tell you what, it depends how long and where that car is. They may have to get all the tyre blankets back onto the circuit. Oh, his car is smoking. So he's pulled over to the right-hand side of the circuit on the grass. The engine is proper smoking. He's got an engine failure on his way round to the grid. So I think they might have to abandon the start here because he's not... They're going to have to get a recovery vehicle on the circuit to remove that. So I think they might have to come back into the pit lane. They might have to come back into the... Oh, it says he's been removed. Has he been removed already? We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, now 51 lap race, to be honest, because it's an aborted start. Can he get a replacement? No, not like the old days. No replacement vehicles again. So they haven't. I'm looking at you can see kind of briefly some of the discussions coming through from the engineers and stuff on the... Hang on. We're still waiting to see... Leclerc already reporting that the car isn't turning well. Have they said aborted start? We'll have an extra aborted start is what Liam's engineer has just reported to Liam Lawson. So they're going to be doing another formation lap, I think. They've got a red flag this, haven't they? Race hasn't even started yet, and they've got to red flag it, surely. It's going to be another aborted start and then next signal at 5 minutes. I think that means you're going to be staying on the grid. So I think they're going to be sitting on the grid. They might have to bring out all of the pit crew again, possibly. And then the start will... I'm just trying to see if there's any update on what's actually going to happen, guys. This is multi-viewer, Joram. Multi-viewer. Leclerc complaining the car's not turning well. Yeah, I know. Well, technically not a Red Bull, but it is a Red Bull, isn't it? So this race isn't starting, guys. They're lining up on the grid. There is another aborted start. So, yeah, Charles Leclerc, yes, switch off the ignition. They're all being told to switch off at this moment in time. So, yeah, they're parking the cars on the grid, and there's going to be a restart as soon as they're able to get Yuki Tsunoda's car safely off the track. But his engine, there's smoke coming into the cockpit of Yuki Tsunoda's onboard, and the engine just went cut out. So, that's all right, Danny boy. So the mechanics cannot come to the grid. Confused. Kevin Magnussen confused at what's going on at the moment is what he's reporting. The race distance has been reduced by 1 lap. Some of them saying, but they can't come onto the track. Come on, make a decision. Are you going to properly stop the race before it's even started and do a proper restart? Or are you going to... Okay, so the guys should be getting onto the grid, but there's a delay at the moment is what they're reporting to Lewis. Fucking FIA. Make a decision, will you? Jesus. If they've been told to switch the cars off, then they should allow the mechanics to get back out there and just have a delayed start. So, Lance, they're waiting to let the mechanics onto the grid. It's a bit of a mess. Yeah, everyone's reporting it's a mess. Typical. Typical FIA, guys. Typical. Hang on. So yeah, they're having to, reporting that they're all coming on with a blanket. So we have a delayed start, guys. We have a delayed start. What happened, Marlin? So Marlin, we had Yuki Tsunoda engine basically blow up as they was on their way round to the grid start. So Yuki pulled over just before turn 11, which is the last corner, and the car is in gear and cannot be moved. So because of that, they're having to get a recovery vehicle on track, which you can see on TV now. So that would take too long for the drivers just to keep going round the track or sit stationary on the grid with cold tyres. So the mechanics are coming back on. Hang on. So they've got 5 minutes. Apparently there's 5 minutes until the race restarts again. They're now coming onto the grid, warming up the tyres with the tyre blankets, and yeah, there'll be a restart in 5 minutes. They'll be getting toasty in those cockpits, yeah. So smoke, yes, there was smoke, yeah. Incompetence is... So there'll be another formation lap, and then there will be the start. So actually, we're going to lose 2 laps of racing. Everyone did the formation lap. Then they did the... So they did the formation lap. Then they did an aborted start, which was another lap. And now they've stopped, which then means they're going to do another formation lap when the race will start. So we're going to lose 3 laps of racing. Formation lap doesn't count as... Well, no, actually, no, sorry. We'll lose 2 laps of racing. Because they have to count the additional formation lap as a racing lap. Don't they? Surely. Because they can't fuel for that. They fuel for the initial formation lap. And then it has to be counted as a racing lap. So indecisive, aren't they, Connor? So indecisive. How do they expect those cars to be sat on grid for more than 5 minutes and the cars are just sat there cooking, tyres getting cold, like down into the tightest of T1s on the circuit with one of the longest runs? Do they want a multi-car pile-up at the start of the race? Like, Jesus. You made a YouTube edit, but it was too big for YouTube Shorts. You need to reduce it to being under a minute long. It's not about the size, it's about the length, Marlon. So it has to be under 1 minute long. 60 seconds, mate. Motorsport. So, Yuki Tsunoda's engine basically started smoking and cut out on the formation lap. So they had to bring a recovery vehicle on track to be able to remove it, which meant they've had to abort the start. They've done technically 2 formation laps. One of those is a racing lap, and the mechanics are now on grid. But we didn't know if the race was going to restart pretty quickly. But it was quite evident, I thought, quite quickly that they was just going to be... As soon as they found out they had to get a recovery vehicle on circuit, that they would have to bring the mechanics out and make sure the cars are safe, like, you know? Yes, John. Yeah. I think it's 1 kilogram. Is it 2 or 1? I thought it was 1. To be fairly fair, they might actually want the pile up. Probably. But a good question from Crofty there, actually. We're getting into the specifics. So he said, technically, because the race, they've done 1 racing lap, does that mean the race has started? And does that mean that if someone wanted to run a tyre for the whole duration of the race, is that legal? But I don't think that's the case. Formation lap will start at 20 minutes on the hour, guys. So 7 minutes. 7 bloody minutes. It would have been interesting, Connor. It would have been very interesting. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah, 7 minutes until, well, just under 7 minutes until the race restarts, guys. 20 minutes on the hour, or 20 past on the hour. So we'll see. They need to allow tyre change first, and they won't, as it is no safety concern. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, no, they've just reported, actually, the communications director for Mercedes said they have to keep the tyres on from which they started. So 1,000 IQ strap plays. I was going to say, I don't think he's thinking so much of Albon. He's thinking of Hamilton. He's thinking of Lewis on those set of hard tyres if they last long enough. It was an engine failure that stopped McLaren winning all the races. I just hope so. I just hope it's like, on one hand, you have to really admire like what they've done this season and what Max has done. But on the other hand, you're just like, I want someone else to win. It's like in any sports, you're like, just someone else. Just someone else win for a change, you know? Like I appreciate Federer is amazing. He's amazing, and he won so many Wimbledon titles in a row. And he's like graceful to watch. But can someone else just win? And eventually they did. But at Monza, I think they had the engine failure 2 laps from the ends. What McLaren did. It was the same period, wasn't it? They won every single, yeah, because they won every single race to start off the season. And then it came to Italy and Ferrari put it on pole, and they also won the race to break the run of wins. So Lawson, so this leaves Lawson with a bit of, I wonder how he's feeling, because he's now the only AlphaTauri in this race now. Second race of the season and in F1, and well, he's now got all of their hopes for this race on his shoulders. So he's already received one freebie before the race starts, so that's one overtake he's already got. Guys, if you can hit the like button while we're sitting here for the race to restart, which is just under 4 minutes now, guys. Under 4 minutes until the race restarts, and they'll be doing their formation lap 20 minutes on the 20 past on the hour. But yeah, if you can hit the like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, you know, that YouTube jazz. If you're new here, everyone, there's over 200 of you in this stream. We can get half of you can hit the like button. Less than half of you can hit the like button and get it to over 100 likes. Helps push the channel and the stream. Mclaren 1-2 again. Hey, Simic, good to see you, buddy. Gasly wins in Monza. Yeah, the Alpines have got it all to do today, starting 17th and 18th. Very poor weekend for them so far. Odd by the Alpines. Just maybe didn't get that hard tyre firing yesterday. I didn't quite hear the reports or their comments on it. Did they get caught in traffic? I don't know. That's true, Mark. That's true. Right, we're not far away. Coffee finished. Where's my water? Where's 2 secs. I've got my water. Alpine think they're in an iRacing race. That's their problem. Mert putting Hamilton on hards because they know he's not overtaking anyone with that straight speed. Probably. Kaka. Top man. Another coffee and I got the ticket to the Oz GP. Oh, did ya? Buzzing, man. Thanks for the 11 months, man. Good to see you as always. That'd be mega, mate. That'd be a mega experience. I've never attended an F1 race in person before. Right, what is the time? What is the time, guys? 20 past. 20 past. So they should be... Well, I say it's 20 past. I'm rounding it up. It's 19 minutes past. So they'll be going any second now. For the third time. Wow, lucky boy. All right, come on, guys. Should be going. Yes, please. 45 seconds is what's reported. Everyone crashes and Logan gets his... Ferrari overalls look like McDonald's outfits. You think? Don't ruin it for me. I love their overalls this week and their livery. Right, so here we go. Attempt number 2, guys. Attempt number 2. So another formation lap, and then they will be starting the race. You went to Miami for free. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, Smooths, is that that's what I would do. I'm not too fussed about going and watching the race weekends. I'd much rather go on the Friday practice. The cars are on track for longer. And yeah, you get to see you get to see more of all the Formula disciplines. And generally speaking, it's a little bit quieter because it's a working day. So you get a bit more freedom to roam around the track and see different corners. Whereas on the race weekend and the qualifying weekend, it's so busy and it's so limited to where you can go and what you can see. Nothing Ferrari does is beautiful, just nothing. What's Sam do? What did Sam do? Seeing Charles crash live and the crowd was crazy there. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Like you want to be able to. I'm a fan of F1, and I remember walking around Silverstone for the World Endurance Championship. It was the last year of the LMP1 cars, and to be able to stand at the entrance of Maggots and Beckett's and watch those cars go through there, and just different areas like through Copse Corner, through like the first corner as well, like around the main straight. It was just having that freedom to walk around and see these cars go tackle the different corners. It was great to see, and I want to do that with F1 as well. So yeah, he'll jump down to the bottom, Ellen, don't you worry. Right, so here we go, guys. Attempt number 2. So Stroll backing up the pack there, at the back of the pack. P20 for him. Very, very poor qualifying for him this weekend. Him and the Alpines. Interested to see what they can do today. I'm intrigued to see actually how Sargent can get on today, because I think Sargent has the car underneath him to take that to a top 10 finish today. He really should be aiming for points. Let's see what Sargent can do. But anyway, here we go. Let's get ready, guys. The Italian Grand Prix is about to get underway. One last time, if you can hit the like button and subscribe before it starts. If you're new here, much appreciated. So, here we go. As they line up on the grid, Carlos Sainz is your pole position with Verstappen close behind, and Leclerc, George Russell, Perez in 5th, Albon 6th, Piastri 7th, Hamilton 8th, Norris 9th, Alonso, Tsunoda, who is out of this race, Lawson, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Sargent, Zhou, Gasly, Ocon, Magnussen, Stroll. Bosh. Let's go into this race. Stroll is lining up on the grid, and we're only seconds away. Here we go. Race starts. Lights are on. And it's away we go. Let's see if anyone got bogged down at the start there. It seems that Hamilton, it seems like Verstappen, the blue marker of Verstappen is ahead of Sainz there, down into T1. Sainz holds on to the position. Does he? Yes, he does. It does seem like that they went side by side into the first corner, but Hamilton gained a position and then lost it again from Lando there. But everyone seems to have done okay. Everyone's moved up a position. Hulkenberg has gained a couple of positions there as they head into the second chicane for the first time. Disappointing there, but no one made up any positions. All very nicey from everyone there. But as they go through the first Lesmo, Sargent has got ahead of Bottas. Important for him, as we just said, for him to make up some positions today. And let's see. Let's keep an eye on that time. Important for Sainz to break that toe of Verstappen. As we know, the Red Bull very quick in a straight line with the DRS open, the best on the track. But at the moment, it is everyone pretty much holding station. Piastri gained a position on Alex Albon there, and Alonso lost a position from Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg, the biggest winner on the first lap so far. 2 positions gained. Of course, everyone gained a position below Tsunoda because of his retirement before the race started. So they're coming around the last corner for the first time, and I'm just watching the race restart. We're about a lap behind on the TV coverage, and Sainz did make a good start, and he was very aggressive, cutting off the front of Verstappen, and everyone played very, very nice into the first corner. George Russell actually got up the inside of Charles Leclerc there into the first corner, but he held. Charles Leclerc got the better drive out of the corner, and well, it actually went side by side, George and Charles Leclerc into the second chicane. But here we go, guys. First lap completed, and everyone kind of holding station at the moment. Hamilton is closing up behind Norris, and Albon into the second chicane there has gained a position on Piastri. Go on, Albon. But Lance Stroll still at the back of the grid here, behind Magnussen in on the hard tyre. Of course, next time around, we will have DRS. And interestingly enough, Verstappen is just over a second behind Carlos Sainz here. Let's see if, well, obviously, the Red Bull running a little bit more downforce, so should be quicker through the corners than that of the Ferrari. And as you can see, now back within that DRS, which is important for the Red Bull here. Let's see if he closes up, and Max definitely closing up in those corners, but suffering a little bit of dirty air out of the last corner. Did get around to about 8 tenths and then lost it a little bit, probably with a little bit of understeer out of turn 11, Parabolica. But as you can see, Max Verstappen purple in the last sector. But importantly enough is that Sainz, I don't think the Red Bull has got enough straight line speed to catch up with Sainz that much from around a second back. We will see. Could be eating my words very quickly, guys. But yes, so Norris has still just holding on to that position from Hamilton, but starting to see some gaps forming up ahead. The top three, as we expect, to start pulling away from the Mercedes of George Russell. Perez is, well, yeah, in that DRS of George Russell at the moment. So George is going to be vulnerable to Perez next time around. They get DRS down from turn 7 all the way down to the Ascari chicane. Will Perez have enough? Probably not down into this corner. Let's see how much he gains. So he's 1 second behind. Gained only about a tenth, 2 tenths to Russell there in that short back straight. That's intriguing. That's intriguing. Verstappen is 8 tenths, 7.5 tenths behind Sainz now. Let's see, as Leclerc is set purple sector in the first and second sectors, guys. So let's see what gains does Verstappen make here with the DRS open. So he's just under 7 tenths. First time around with the DRS open. Does he have enough to overtake Sainz down into T1? No. So Max at the moment supreme in the last sector, and made up about 3 tenths there, I would say. Made up about 3-4 tenths down into the first corner. People are just listening, man, and it's all good. It's all good. People are listening to my dulcet tones and my dulcet commentary. So Sainz, let's have a little rundown, guys. So Sainz, P1, leading from Verstappen, who is only 6 tenths, just over half a second behind from Sainz. Leclerc following in the DRS of Verstappen, just 9 tenths back. Russell dropping back from those front three, as we kind of expect. Mercedes don't have the pace here this weekend. 1.6 seconds behind, being chased by Perez, who is 8 tenths and in that DRS. Albon, a further 1.8 seconds back from Perez, but importantly for him, keeping the McLaren of Piastri outside of the DRS, 1.2 seconds further back. Norris chasing down his teammate, or following his teammate with Hamilton on that harder compound tyre, trying to go longer than the rest of those in front, is tucked up behind Norris. Although he's just lost the DRS there, Hamilton struggled probably through a Ascari chicane there, but he's just lost the DRS, importantly for him, down this main straight. I'm pretty sure of it yet. No DRS activated for Hamilton. So Hulkenberg now in P10. Just inside there. Alonso, obviously a loser at the moment. Lawson holding position in 12th. Good performance from him thus far. Sargent up 2 positions in 13th. Then you've got the 2 Alphas. Alpine struggling here, guys, this weekend. 16th and 17th position. Cannot get out of this DRS train. I'm intrigued to see how long these teams think the hard tyre could go on for. Like, how long do they think this hard tyre can go long? Because they're surely already got to be thinking about the undercut. I mean, surely one of the Alpines, you've got to pit them early. You've got to try an alternative strategy with the Alpines to pit them early and get one of them ahead and try and make up some time in clean air. I think that's what a lot of these guys will be thinking. But Verstappen reporting he's already sliding a bit, so it's all good with Max Verstappen reporting on Carlos Sainz. So this was the worry. This was the worry, and Max is already, look at that. I think this is it, guys. This could be a done and dusted move here. He's 4 tenths behind Carlos Sainz. DRS open. We know that they've got the speed. This could be side by side going into the first corner. Let's see if Max can get the move done before they even get into the first corner. He's just behind. He's right on his gearbox. As you can see, less than a second behind Carlos Sainz there. And Leclerc has lost the toe, importantly, from Verstappen as well. Although he did regain it down into that first corner there. So, seems to be only a little matter of time until Max gets this move done. And this was the worry, guys, after qualifying, was that the Ferraris just good in a straight line, good over a single lap, but when it comes to the race pace, with the higher fuel, with the heavier car, the car is just going to slide around too much, and they're going to have more tyre wear, even at a very even at a circuit like Monza, where tyre degradation is too big of a factor. Ferraris, I mean, look, Verstappen just being patient, really. He's being sensible. He knows that as soon as he gets in clean air, he'll be able to overtake him. So, Albon going to be a bomb on the straight. Yeah. I mean, he's pulled out a gap on Piastri, 1.6 seconds. Sainz defending Max there as they went into the first corner. Oh, love to see it from Carlos Sainz. Sainz was very, very bolshy there. I think, shall I say, giving Max a bit of his own medicine of what he's done in the past. Max maybe learning from his race with, or his incident with Lewis Hamilton. That could quite easily have been a Lewis and Max callback there. Max was on the outside as they went into turn 1, and it was almost like, I tell you what, that was exactly the same move, and their cars were in exactly the same position as Lewis and Max was in the last couple of years. Remember 2021? Was it 2021? It was 2021, wasn't it? And Max reporting that it's naughty, but Max smart enough to back out of it this time around. It is true, Jam. I think so. Imagine if that was Verstappen again. Max with Lewis. Could have been a different result. Trebon. For Sainz, his engineer comes on the radio and says to Sainz in regards to the move against Max. So let's have a little rundown here. So Max, I think now is just being patient. I think he knows he's got the tyre life. He'll be able to go longer on those medium tyres than the Ferraris, and he'll be able to go quicker because of that in the clean air when it comes to it. And I think he'll do the overcut on the Ferraris. I think that's how this race is panning out, as Perez gets very, very close there to Russell down into T1. Perez struggling to get past the Mercedes there. I'm surprised it's taken him this long to get past him. They clearly have the better car. But importantly for them is that Perez and Russell aren't too far back from the front three at this moment in time. If Perez gets past Russell, I think Perez could come in and play into this race today. So let's have a little rundown of the grid. So Piastri down, Albon in 6th, Piastri down in 7th, Norris in 8th, obviously regaining the position on Hamilton there from the start. Alonso, intriguingly enough though, leading that pack as he got past Hülkenberg, sets the fastest first sector at 27.8 of anyone this race thus far. Hülkenberg still doing well, 2 positions gained at the moment. Lawson 12th, Sargent 13th, and then the rest of the pack are just stuck in a DRS train. But Hamilton is, keep an eye on Hamilton, going along very nicely on those hard compound tyres, just dragging himself along with those McLarens, doing high 26s. And if you think about it, the front three are only doing mid to low-ish 26s, as though Leclerc just got into the 25s there. But let's see, Verstappen a lot closer this time around. Is he going to make a move on Carlos Sainz down into the first corner? No. We are seeing a very patient Max Verstappen today. I think after that defense from Carlos Sainz into the first corner, I think Max is going to be... Max knows that Sainz and the Ferraris are going to be very bolshy today. And he knows he's got the car underneath him. He just needs to be patient. We're seeing a mature Max so far, I think, at this moment in time. Great to see Albon, though, pulling away from the McLarens and losing a bit of time. I thought maybe he was catching the Russell and Perez battle here, but not so much. He's staying consistent around a 2.5 second mark. Hulk tyres to go off already. Possibly. Yeah, possibly. Where is he at the moment? He's in the DRS. Keep an eye out on the gap. I expect Alonso in the clean air now to be able to pull away from Hulkenberg in the corners. You can see a gap forming. Good, would be good for Lawson to get a move done on Hulkenberg. Give him a bit of confidence here. That Red Bull in a straight line, ridiculous. Keeping all the downforce to that straight speed is silly. Yeah, that's the thing, Connor. It's just patience. We're just seeing a patient Max Verstappen right now. He knows he's got Leclerc covered. And he knows I'm only going to overtake Sainz unless I truly get alongside, unless I truly am able to make a clean overtake. He knows he can just, I mean, you can even see there he's braking a bit early. You can tell he's braking a little bit earlier than Carlos Sainz because the interval drops, or his interval goes out a little bit to like an extra tenth under braking. So he's definitely not sending it as hard as he could be. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But what happened to Albon? Possibly. But important for Albon is that he's still got a 2-second gap to Piastri behind. We'll see if that took out any. We'll see if that took out any life out of his tyres. But you have to remember Albon. He has got 12 lap old medium tyres at the moment compared to Piastri and Norris, who started on fresh medium. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's starting to maybe see some tyre wear coming in there at the moment, or some drop off in his tyres. But this is intriguing. I still think Max has got this, but Russell and Perez are staying with them in front. They're still only a couple of seconds behind. They're not like proper pulling away. And Leclerc has lost the DRS to Max Verstappen there. That's not good for him, although he'll probably regain it under braking into turn 1. But yeah, I think Leclerc's struggling to stay with Sainz and Verstappen here. Has been a little bit off the pace compared to Sainz all weekend. Really good qualifying yesterday, but Sainz does seem to be the better of the two Ferrari drivers this weekend. GP, Max's engineer, reporting Sainz is struggling with the rear a lot. So, just patience. Patience, isn't it? He is today. He knows he's got the car underneath him. But as soon as that Red Bull pits, and they're definitely going to pit before the Red Bull, he'll be able to just set the lap times and do the overcut. What happened to K-Mag? Probably a lockup. Here we go. So, there's the first pit stop, guys. Gasly, I told you, one of the Alpines would pull the trigger and do the undercut. So, this will be Gasly going to the end of the race now, barring a safety car, going to the end of the race on a set of hard compound tyres. Keep an eye out on these lap times, because everyone in the midfield at the moment is doing 27s, mid-27s. If he does quicker than that, then he's going to do the undercut on them. So Perez having a move. Is he going to have a move on George Russell here? Oh, he's getting very, very close. Very, very close. Just cannot get past Russell down into T1 at the moment. Albon starting to struggle with his tyres, I think. That gap now to Piastri down to 1.2 seconds and out to 4.4 seconds to Perez and Russell ahead. So Albon starting to struggle on those older medium tyres that he started on compared to the guys behind. Hamilton going along nicely, just being patient, dragging himself along, looking after the tyre life here. And then once he gets into clean air, it might be hammer time for him. Alonso currently P10. How's he getting on? Whoa, Lawson's got past Hulkenberg. Go on the boy. Go on the boy. P11, just outside the points. Great drive from him so far. So Zhou also in the Alpha. Romeo has pulled the trigger on the undercut. So Zhou, Alpha's covering off Gasly there and actually getting out quite nicely ahead of him. Let's see what they can do. But as you can see, they've kept Ocon out for a little bit longer. Split strategy here, and just see what they can do. So Max, once again, every single time out of turn 11, just consistently 6/10, half a second behind Sainz, and just being patient, keeping that pressure on, and just making Sainz use his tyre life. Don't give you hope. Well, I think he might be on for a podium. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because it's too early to sell. It's too early to tell. But it all depends. Hamilton's race is going to be when he gets into clean air. That's where it's truly going to come into effect. How quickly can he go when he gets clean air on those hard compound tyres? Lawson getting points would be great. It would be great for him as well. And I think that could pretty much solidify a drive for him next year in that AlphaTauri. We discussed yesterday. I think Danny Rick is going to go up into the. I think Danny Rick will go into the Red Bull next year. I think Perez's seat is gone, regardless of contracts. But Leclerc now struggling to stay with Verstappen and Carlos Sainz, 1.3 seconds behind. Not got the DRS, although he is quicker than that of George Russell. George Russell holding up Perez at the moment. Perez just not able to get past George. Are they reporting to Perez to just look after his tyres and be patient as well? That might be the case because of the gap ahead. They know they can make up a time difference ahead of those in front of them in clean air. So just make sure you've got enough tyre life when these guys pit ahead of you, and then we can go on the attack. And it's an easy 1-2. I think there's... Oh, as we say that, Perez gets ahead of George down into T1. Is he able to hold on to it as they come out of the first chicane? And he does. He does. So Perez gets ahead of George, but George is close behind. Is he going to be able to stay in the slipstream here through Curva Grande and make a return overtake down into turn 4? It wouldn't surprise me if George does have a go. And he does. George return to sender into turn 4. Gets Perez back, and that is not ideal for Perez. Maybe Perez used a bit of the extra battery down that main straight and just didn't have enough going into turn 4. Ooh, I can't wait to see this back on TV because that must have been a great drive that Russell got on there through Curva Grande. He was 3/10 back out of the first corner, but not ideal for Perez. Great defense there. I'm just waiting to see it on TV. My TV coverage is so far behind, guys. Ridiculous. But you can see now, Leclerc made up a 10th. He's made up a 10th a little bit. So Perez, is he going to have a go again? 4/10 behind Russell. Let's see. Maybe Russell used a bit of extra battery through Curva Grande, and now he's going to be down on power as they head into T1. Let's see. The gap is staying pretty consistent here. Oh, okay. So the only reason Perez got ahead... Hang on. So Perez actually gave the position back to George because he shoved George and both of them off the circuit into T1 from a mega lunge. Although Perez is saying he pushed him off. What? Oh, Max has got past. Max has got past Sainz. Max has got past Sainz in my effort watching. Oh, we never... Perez saying George pushed him off. He never... Oh, no. Perez locked up. He never got pushed off. But in all of that, Max has got past Sainz. And this is where this race is probably going to be won, guys. This is probably where this race is going to be won. Because Verstappen, with much fresher, quicker medium tyres, is now probably going to pull away. So I'm just watching the first corner. Oh no, Sainz massively locked up into T1 with a bit of a jink of Verstappen just showing his nose to Sainz. Brilliant pressure from him as Perez is also now going side by side with George Russell again down into T1. And it's all happening at the moment, guys. Is Perez able to hold on to this time around? He is, but as we know, George only 2 tenths behind. Is he going to be able to do something similar? Although he was given the position back last time to Perez with a lunge down into turn 4. No, he has to back off, and that is the Red Bulls ahead of both of the drivers they were stuck behind. And well, it is now full attack mode from Max and from Perez. Perez to get onto the back of the Ferraris of the Leclerc and Sainz, and well, Verstappen to just make up as much time as he can on these better looked after medium tyres. Well, guys, well. There we go. But it was a great move from Max. It was a great move. He just showed his nose to Sainz, made Sainz just look in his mirrors, try and cover the position off, and he locked up because he was out of position. And then Max just got the drive out of turn 1 and just overtook him and swept around the outside of Curva Grande. So, intriguing thing is now is how much has Sainz's tyres taken a battering, and are they going to do a driver swap? Is Leclerc now going to have a change of position and get ahead of Sainz? They need to work together. Ferrari need to identify pretty quickly if Leclerc is quicker than Sainz and if he has better tyre life. If that is the case, then they need to change positions and they need to do something. Well, look, the Monza curse is still a thing. The Monza curse is still a thing. Red Bull have not had any reliability issues this year, and well, something may happen. I'm just saying. Come on, guys, don't give up yet. There's still 35 laps left. So Albon has made a pit stop. He is now onto the hard tyres, into some clean air. Lawson has also pitted onto the hards in all of this. So let's have a little rundown of the standings at the moment. So we have Verstappen now in P1, overtaking Sainz after being patient and just piling on that pressure from a lock-up from Sainz. Sainz now struggling with his tyres, it seems, and Leclerc, I think, is quite evidently the quicker driver. Maybe Leclerc was just sitting back a bit. Maybe that was Leclerc's plan, was to stay with the front two, but just look after his tyres that little bit more than Sainz, who was pushing to keep Verstappen behind him. Perez in 4th place, still being attacked by Russell, who's in 5th in the DRS. We have Piastri and Norris of the 2 McLarens in 6th and 7th, with Hamilton just biding his time, being patient, down in 8th position on the hard compound tyres. All of this in the meantime, he's not too far behind those guys ahead, so we will see. Then we have Alonso, who is catching up to Hamilton now, only 2.2 seconds now behind Hamilton. He's pushing to regain some time lost that he did at the start behind Hülkenberg. Bottas up 4 positions into 10th as the midfield starts to make their pit stops. We have Ocon in 11th, Stroll in 8th. Albon, who's made his pit stop, the first of those in the top 10 to make a pit stop on the hard compound tyre. We know how good Albon is with his tyre management, to see him on these to the end. Lawson, all aboard the Lawson train, choo-choo, in 14th, who's also made a pit stop, holding up Zhou, but just shows how much time Zhou made up on that undercut, because he is now all over the back of Lawson, which I'm pretty sure was not the case before the pit stops. Sargent in 16th, Hülkenberg 17th, lost a lot of time there, and Gasly, Alpine's just struggling here this weekend. And then Leclerc has just reported that Sainz is struggling on the rears. So let's see what Ferrari do. Let's see what they do. That's all good, Marlon. Yeah, we got Kaka here. We got Kaka here to mods. I didn't see what some of those comments were from that individual who was spamming. Yeah, obviously it's not what we're all about here, guys. Obviously, I don't know what was said, but look, I'm fans of F1. We all have our drivers we prefer and our teams that we prefer, but we want to see good racing and we all want to enjoy the race. So that's what we're here for, and that's what I'm here to try and provide you guys. So, yeah. Let's go, Max. Yeah, this is very much Max's to lose now. Already 4 seconds ahead of Carlos Sainz, and Leclerc is being gained on by Perez Ferrari, if they are identifying that Leclerc is quicker than Sainz, they need to change these cars now. Because if they don't, they're going to lose a double podium here. They're going to lose a double podium. Pit loss time, I don't know. I think it's about 20. It's 25 laps. I think it's quite long. 25 seconds. I think it's quite long. Mrs. Stuffy, thanks, George. Love you. Maybe if he lets K-Mag, Haas will tell him to... So Sainz in the pits. So that has solved their problem. But Perez is now in the DRS of Leclerc. And Leclerc, being held up by Carlos Sainz there, as George Russell also comes into the pits, has lost a lot of time. The Perez is now in that DRS. And you think it's only a matter of time until Perez attacks Leclerc and gets that position. And we currently have a Red Bull 1 and 2. Oh, Ferrari. And Sainz has come out behind Bottas as well. Ugh. But he should be able to overtake Bottas pretty quickly. But that's not ideal, bringing Sainz out into the dirty air of Bottas. Sainz would have wanted a clean out lap here to try and make up as much time as he can on a fresh set of hard compound tyres. But wow. So Lawson there still holding up the train, it seems. Albon in a bit of clean air. Let's have a look at some lap times. 27.3 from him. He's catching Stroll and Ocon. Max is able to do a 26.4. So this is how quick and how supreme these Red Bulls are, guys, on their tyre life compared to that of the Ferraris or anyone else on the grid. So let's have a look at this lap this time around. Oh, okay. Max, you ruined it. You ruined it. Obviously, Red Bull responding to the pit stop of Carlos Sainz there. As Sainz got past Bottas down into Ascari. But Max did a 126.4 last time around. And Leclerc's lap time was a 127.5. There was like a second difference. Likewise, Perez, 26.5. Those Red Bulls are a second quicker at this stage of the race on the same tyre. Ridiculous. So where does Leclerc come out ahead of his teammate? Let's see. Does Leclerc get ahead of his teammate down into T1? Sainz has got the run. It's going to be side by side with the Ferraris down into T1. Oh, no. Come on. Keep it clean. They do. Just. Fucking hell, Ferrari. Jesus Christ. And oh, they're side by side again. My God. I'm not even a Ferrari fan. And this is too much. Russell's come out behind Bottas, which has given the Ferraris a bit of respite there. He should get Bottas down into Ascari pretty easily. But, oh my God. I'm waiting to see it on TV. Because Leclerc wanted to get ahead of Sainz. He wanted to. He's pushing it. And the thing is now is that, I mean, look, like... Oh... I'm watching it back on TV now to see how close they are. But Leclerc is all over the back of Sainz. He's all over the back of him. I'm just looking at the TV coverage now. Yeah, it's... Oh my God, that was so close to Sainz. Like, or Leclerc losing his front wing there and there being a puncher. But Perez all over the back of him now. This is going to be interesting. So this is a fight for the podium now, let's be honest. Verstappen, unless something dramatic happens, is going to end up like just driving off with this. And Leclerc had a go round the outside, side by side, into turn 4. We was correct. We was correct, but let's see what happens between the two Ferraris and Perez. I mean, Russell's getting involved now as well. We know that the Mercedes does come alive in race conditions on a lower tank of fuel, so they seem to come alive at this kind of second half of the race, and expect to see Hamilton probably come alive as well. Hamilton just plodding along, of course, short. Not the longest track here, so they will be lapped by Max. But Lewis is going to be quick at the end of this race. It'd be interesting to see how many positions he can make up. That could be some fun towards the end of this race. Not going to come into play in regards to the podium today, but it will be fun seeing him go through. So Norris comes into the pits now, as Piastri is your current leader. Obviously, Verstappen is your next leader once everyone pits. But Sainz, fastest lap of the race, although Perez now is fastest in the last sector. DRS open, not able to get close enough to Perez just yet. I mean, the way it's going, Perez just needs to just sit back and let the Ferraris fight it out. Something will happen. But yeah. Well, guys, much appreciated everyone being here. Over 1,000 viewers right now. If you can hit the like button, we only got 55 likes. It will help push the stream. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. I do these race watch-alongs on the regular with the qualifying yesterday, and then obviously the race today. So I try and make every session that I can. And yeah, really enjoy it. And I'm glad to see everyone here. And if you're new here, much appreciated. Verstappen versus Hamilton coming up. not on the track of where we'd like them to be, though. That's the thing. Not on the track where we'd like them to be. But Hamilton, let's have a look at his lap time. So 27.1 on the hard compound tyre compared to Piastri with 27.4 this time around. Let's have a look at the leaders. So 25.8 for Verstappen, who's obviously been held up with a bit of traffic. Perez is 7 tenths behind Leclerc, but of course Leclerc does have DRS. But double DRS is a thing here. So if Perez is close enough, he could get a double toe from Sainz and Leclerc. But I think he's just a little bit too far back to make that happen. Piastri into the pits now. Can he come out ahead of his teammate? Let's see. He's led Lando Norris for quite some time. The inter-team battle here. Let's see if he's able to get ahead of Norris. Of course, Norris be wanting to gain that position. And I think he's going to. I think that extra lap, which to be fair, guys, oh, hang on, they're side by side down into the first corner. Now, if anyone has any inkling of who the #1 driver is at McLaren, of course, Piastri is a rookie. Normally, it's the lead car who gets the priority of pit stop. Piastri was the lead car. Norris got the pit stop first. So there we go. And now Norris has done the undercut on Piastri. So at the moment, quite evident that, of course, Norris is the #1 driver and he is being preferred at McLaren. But that may change. That may change next year. Piastri doing very well in his first season in F1. So, Verstappen all over the back of Hamilton here. It's 2021 all over again. Oh, no, it's basically Hamilton hasn't pitted yet. Flashbacks to 2021, guys. As Verstappen breezes past Hamilton for the lead in this race. Hamilton is P2. Imagine there's a safety car right now. Imagine there's a safety car. Maybe that's also Mercedes' plan. Mercedes' plan is to hope for a safety car. If someone blows out now, Hamilton's P2. 5-second time penalty for George Russell, leaving the track and gaining an advantage. Oh, really? Did he get that? Oh, my God. So you know what I said that the McLarens went side by side? They actually bumped tyres into the first corner. Woo! No love lost between those two. I tell you what, that is something, that is one to keep an eye on in the future, guys. The battle between Norris and Piastri. That is going to get feisty in the future. Right, so let's have a rundown because I think everyone, other than those who ran the hard tyre at the start, have, well, Magnussen's now onto the medium, but other than Hamilton and Bottas, everyone has made a pit stop now. So we currently have Verstappen in P1, who is, well, 5 seconds ahead of Carlos Sainz at the moment. Of course, Hamilton yet to pit. Sainz is leading Leclerc here by 6 tenths. And we have Perez, who cannot get ahead of Leclerc at this moment in time in P5. I say that. Perez just got a great run out of the last corner there. If you look at the interval, he's now 2.5 tenths behind Leclerc as they're heading down into T1. I think Perez is going to make a move on Leclerc here. You can see, yes, they're side by side. Oh, no, Perez backs out of it just a little bit earlier. He had a real good run there. I reckon he could have made a move. So Bottas now into the pits. Lewis is the only driver on this grid who is yet to make a pit stop. Definitely holding out for a safety car, Mercedes. Definitely holding out for a safety car. Because if that happens now, then they've jumped so many positions. Thank you for the recent subs. Much appreciated. Ethan, Martin, Zoo. I'm just going to call you Zoo. And anyone else who has subbed in that time and it doesn't show up as an alert, YouTube is, yeah, a bit funny like that, as you know. So, why isn't Hamilton pitting? Because, well, he's doing 27. He's doing high 27s right now. He's trying to go as long as possible. So Hamilton's trying to go as long as possible so that he has fresher tyres as he possibly can towards the end of the race. Plus, there might be a safety car. If a safety car comes out right now, whether it be if it comes virtual, he gets a free pit stop, pretty much. And if it comes to, or a reduced pit stop, it makes up quite a considerable amount of time on the cars around him that he was fighting. And if there's a full safety car, he's in P2. So, Noah, thank you for the sub, buddy. Safety car in the next 2 lap cows. It would definitely spice things up a bit. It definitely would spice things up a bit. But, yeah. Oh, that incident between Piastri and Norris has been noted by the stewards. Interesting. So, yeah, sorry. Let's have a little bit further run down the grid. So, we've looked at the top 6. George Russell suffering there with, obviously, his time penalty, gaining an advantage. We've got Albon. Come on, Albon. 14 laps on these hard compound tyres. Are we going to see yet again another Albon defensive masterclass? Because we know he drives a car that is very wide. Those McLarens are going to catch him up. At the moment, Piastri just did a 26.2 last time around, 26.4 from Norris. They're half a second, nearly a second quicker than Albon at the moment. And it makes sense. They've got 6 lap fresher tyres. And arguably, you could say a quicker car as well. So how long is Albon going to be able to hold them off? We will see. But Alonso currently trying to chase down those McLarens. If Albon's able to hold them up, that will definitely allow Alonso to be caught up in that fight. Lawson holding off Zhou at the moment. Very good race from him. Zhou actually doing quite well, up 4 positions. His undercut worked an absolute treat, by the way, with Zhou. Sargent in 13th place, only really 1 position gained on merit because Tsunoda pulled out at the start of the race. Hulkenberg down a position in 14th. Gasly, Alpine's struggling, man. Ocon's down in 19th and Gasly in 15th. Terrible from them this weekend. We have, who else do we have here at the moment? And Lance Stroll in 17th, Magnussen 18th. Yeah, of course, Ocon at the back. But last time around, as you can see there, guys, the pace difference. Verstappen a 25.5, Sainz a 26.1. Oh my God, that's 6 tenths quicker. And he's just set purple middle sector as well. Three tenths quicker in the middle sector. Of course, the Red Bull has got slightly more downforce this weekend, but it's still supreme in a quick line, so they can benefit. They can run a bit more downforce. So as I say that, guys, just missed out on Hamilton making a pit stop there. So he's now on a fresh set of medium tyres, and he is going to be on the charge. I expect him to easily overtake Alonso, Piastri, Norris, and Albon. Might even catch up to his own teammate, and we know how things can get there as well. Oof. I think Hamilton got damaged, he lost lots of position. No, he pitted. Almost thought Ferrari threw away a P2 and P3 there. Well, something could still happen. Perez is biding his time here, I think. Biding his time. That was a better lap this time around from Sainz and Leclerc, 25.7 and 25.6. I actually think Leclerc might be being held up by Carlos Sainz right now. I think he might be being held up. Max is just sitting purple lap after purple lap. The Norris and Piastri fight with Albon is about to get feisty because they are now within the DRS. Hamilton has got past Alonso there on the fresh set of medium tyres down into T1, to be expected. keep an eye on Hamilton. He'll be on the back of those McLarens and Williams very, very quickly. A 27.7 by Hamilton there into the first sector. This is definitely going to be a purple lap from him, most likely. Is Leclerc still all over Sainz? Well, he's dropping back a little bit because he's 9 tenths. Hamilton just reporting he's got a long way to go on this tyre. We'll see. We'll see. Norris all over the back of Albon here. And as we say that, Perez all over the back of Leclerc as well. He's less than 1 tenth. He's less than 2 tenths. As he had a move down the inside into turn 1. Doesn't look like it. Still being patient. Cannot get past that straight line speed that the Ferrari has with the DRS open. Difficult for Perez at the moment. Norris. Is he going to have a move on Albon here down into T1? They're definitely... Norris going to be thinking of the exit here. Going to be tucking up tight behind Albon and try and get this slipstream down through Curva Grande into turn 4. Is he able to do it? No. Just loses a bit under traction. So, here we are. All aboard the defensive masterclass of Albon, guys. Yeah, Hamilton went purple in the first. He set a 25.5 last time around. I thought that'd be purple, but he struggled a little bit there. Hang on. Albon has overheated his rear tyres, is what the McLaren drivers are reporting to McLaren engineers are reporting to Lando Norris. So, of course, they're trying to G him up as Max sets another purple lap, a 25.398. He is now 6 seconds ahead of Sainz as Leclerc really under threat here from Perez. I think Perez is going to get this move done. He is 2 tenths, less than 2 tenths. He's got the move done. They're definitely side by side down into the first corner. As you can see, the interval there is Perez is 0.35. Has Leclerc been able to defend on the inside from Perez there? I think that's how he was able to hold him off. Although Perez is going to have a drive here. They're side by side as they go around Curva Grande. Is he going to be able to overtake Leclerc down into turn 4? It is all about the defense from Leclerc. And he holds on to the position. Very, very good defensive display from Leclerc there. He shoved Perez onto the outside of both corners. And it is very, very difficult to overtake round the outside of those chicanes, especially into turn 4. It's nigh on impossible. So very, very good defense from Leclerc. But what that has done, importantly for Perez, has taken Leclerc out of Sainz's DRS. And it's more likely going to be a formality down into the first corner next lap. Some kid led to stream because of the music. Well, whatever. There's still 1,300 of you in here watching, so much appreciated. If the music is a touch too loud, I'm happy to turn it down for you, but I feel like sometimes the music just adds a little bit more. So here we go. Here is Perez. Here we go. And he is 2 tenths behind Leclerc. This is going to be a move. This is just going to be done before they even get into turn 1. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And as we say that, I am watching the replay of the last lap where Leclerc defended from Perez. And exactly as I said, he was able to defend from Perez by sticking him on the outside. Great camera angle there with the helmet cam. Oh my God, Perez nearly lost it as well. Perez nearly lost it into turn 4. Oh, that could have been your safety car right there, guys. As Albon still holding off Norris and Piastri. And all the meanwhile, this is allowing Hamilton and Alonso to close the gap. Thanks, Melly. Turn the volume down. Yeah, I mean, look, end of the day, you're never going to please everyone. You're never going to please everyone. That's my motto online. If you don't want to stick yourself online, then you're never going to, yeah. You have to deal with that at the end of the day. But no, I appreciate everyone who is here. Please keep hitting the like button. Much appreciated. If you're new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. I do these watch-alongs every single race. Well, every race that I can. And yeah, we also do sim racing content as well, as you can tell from my steering wheel. So, Red Bull 1-2 today? I think so. I generally think so. We have 19 laps left of this race, and Perez is just supreme in that last corner. Clean air. That is where That is where it's really coming into play. 6.6 seconds between Sainz and Perez at this moment in time. All right, here we go again. Albon with Norris and Piastri. Let's see if Norris is able to close the gap. He's 6-7 tenths behind Albon as they head down into T1. They're not able to... I think the McLaren is really suffering with the dirty air here through the corners. Obviously, T11, if you're in the dirty air, it's a naturally understeery corner anyway. And if you have the dirty air, you're just going to hurt your tyres. So I think that Williams has enough straight line speed to probably hold off those McLarens. He really needs to be on the gearbox of Albon coming out of turn 11, and it seems to be tough. Tim, thank you for the sub, buddy. 19 likes. Lawrence, Ken, Nessin, thank you for the subs, guys. O'Dane, Guada, and anyone else who has subbed in the meantime and it hasn't come up as alert, much appreciated. It's nice for you to... I'm glad that you're all enjoying the stream. Verstappen, 25.2. And he was slower in the first and third sector. That middle sector... So, to put it in perspective for you guys, the middle sector is turns 4, 5. So the second chicane, 6 and 7. That is really where you need the downforce around this circuit. And Carlos Sainz is reporting it's going to be hard to make it to the end on this tyre. I wonder as well with Hamilton. I reckon Hamilton's also in tyre saving mode already as well with 5 laps, 6 laps on these medium tyres. Hang on. Yeah, as I say that, Ted Kravitz comes on and says he has been told by Mercedes to look after his left rear tyre. So Hamilton already in tyre saving mode. Probably should have gone a bit longer on those medium tyres as Lawson and Joe are in the pits. So we are actually seeing a 2-stop race today, guys. It's going to be very tight with those guys. Other than the Red Bulls, I think it's going to be very tight for everyone to make a 1-stop work today. I did not see that being on the cards. I really didn't. You've been here from 100 subs, Petrus. Have you really? Wow, you're a proper OG. That was really when I was just finding my feet. I didn't even know what I was doing back at 100 subs. Really appreciate it. Oh, all the subs coming in. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We've still got 17 laps of this race. As we know, anything can happen. In the last couple of years at Monza, we have had breakdowns towards the end of the race. So something may still happen. There may still be a spanner in the works for those Red Bulls. You never know. But Norris now a bit closer to Albon. Is he going to be able to overtake Norris? Is Norris going to be able to overtake Albon down into turn 1 here? No, if you look at that interval time between Norris and Albon, he really needs to be about 3 tenths out the last corner, I think. Let's keep an eye out on Perez, though. Has he been able to make any headway on Sainz? 25.9 last time around compared to 26.1 by Sainz. No is your answer to that, or my answer to that. Verstappen, just a league of his own like he has been all season. 25.6 last time around. Half a second quicker than anyone else, like the next quickest on track, pretty much. Or Leclerc. Actually, Leclerc did a 25.8 last time around. Behind Perez, but that's DRS assisted, so. Kitchen OG setup. I'd be calling the missus. George! I'm too busy talking to even think about food. My mind isn't thinking about food when I'm watching F1. So, yeah. Right. Verstappen has lapped Magnussen. So I want to have a look at the tyres, actually. So let me just increase this out a little bit so we can now see. I didn't think I could be using this today, guys, with the 2-stopper. So Magnussen, Gasly, Zhou, and Lawson have all done a second stop to go onto the medium compound tyre to the end. So tyre deg is a lot higher here than originally foreseen, as Albon's still holding off Norris. And by doing that, he's just kept Norris and Piastri in the dirty air so that they just degrade their tyres. So yeah, this is what Albon's brilliant at. It's what he's brilliant at. Maybe he knew this was going to happen. was just tyre saving. That's why the times dropped off, and it was all about preparing for this defence to those McLarens. Oh, thanks, Mac. Yeah, I know, obviously F1. This is why I do these watch-alongs, is that I enjoy having this back and forth with you guys, like-minded F1 fans. And it's really highlighted to me that a number of people across the world just are priced out of F1, or they don't have access to it. And that's why I feel like I'm providing a service, but I enjoy this as well. And that's why I do it. Red Bull could just push being able to keep their tyres going. Exactly, Connor. They're supreme. They're just supreme. I don't know what they've done. Surely it's something illegal to be this good, and no other team has figured it out. I don't get how no other team has figured it out. It's mad. Yeah, it's exactly it, Paul. It's exactly it. And it's the same in the UK as well. And do you know what? Since I've been doing this, I actually don't... I've got Sky here. I've got TV coverage. I use it literally just to watch back the moves. I much more enjoy watching the races through the data, through especially the track map, because you can see so much more of the race that is unfolding. TV, they're limited. There's only so much they can show. There's only so much they can discuss. They are limited around what the TV direction shows as well, and they have to talk about that. Whereas we get to see the fight right now between Sargent and Bottas. You don't get to see that on TV. Or Hulkenberg and Stroll. But you know what I mean. You get to see where everyone is out on what they're doing, seeing the lap time. You can see where people are starting to possibly save. You get to see where, okay, the reason they're not pitting now is because, okay, they're waiting for a gap on the track. All of these things that you don't get on the TV coverage because, of course, they're limited. They're limited. So, no, much appreciate, guys. I appreciate the love. Yeah, just keep hitting the like button if you can. Much appreciated. And hit the subscribe button. So, yeah, I know it gets annoying saying that, but I have to say it because, yeah, otherwise you forget. I forget as well when I'm watching streams. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there's a like and subscribe button. Right, so let's have a little bit of a rundown. So Norris much closer this time around, as I said, in that zone of under 3 tenths to Albon. Is he going to be able to make a move on him down into the first corner? He's definitely side by side there. He's under a tenth. Is he going to be able to get the drive out of the first corner on Albon? He has, but is he able to hold on to it? They're definitely side by side as they go through Curva Grande here. Is chopping and changing on the track map. Is Albon able to hold off Norris? He is down into turn 4. Albono masterclass. Defensive masterclass is what you're watching right now. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Love it, Alex. Love it. Come on. And Hamilton's about to get in on the action as well. Look at Hamilton there. Just biding his time, all the while tyre saving on his medium tyres. He's catching up and he is just outside that DRS of Piastri. What is Piastri going to do? Is Piastri going to get a move on and overtake Norris? I assume Piastri has got to be all over the radio and saying, give me a chance. Hamilton is catching me. Give me a chance at Albon. Norris has had enough time to do this. And I just don't think that's going to happen. And I think the McLarens are going to probably lose a couple of positions here from Hamilton. You shall not pass. No, definitely. Red Bull asking Max to lift and coast to T1 and 2. Most likely to look after his tyres. Maybe even fuel. Maybe even fuel. Oh! So Norris had to bail out. He tried to move round the outside, or like the Max Verstappen with signs earlier. Went round the outside of Albon. Albon did leave him room, but he didn't know. Well, he wasn't able to hold on to that position. Took over the escape section, and that's why Albon breezed back past Norris into turn 4. So still a defensive masterclass from Albon there, defending into T1. So Sargent under attack now from Bottas. It seems Bottas on the much quicker medium compound tyre compared to Sargent, who is on 27 lap old hards. Norris saying he's forced him off. No chance. No chance. You backed out. You backed out, Norris. I'm a fan, but you backed out. If Albon keeps Norris, Piastri, Hamilton, Alonso is definitely the GOAT. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, this is it now. This is it. Lando's had enough of an opportunity to overtake Albon, and he hasn't been able to. If I was Piastri, I'd be going, you need to give me a go. You need to let me have a go. Look, Lewis is all over the back of me now. So let's see. Hamilton in the DRS of Piastri, of course, going to be getting a mega tow from the three cars in front. Is he able to overtake Piastri? Of course, Piastri is going to be looking to try and obviously defend from Hamilton. He is on much older hard compound tyres compared to fresher medium compound tyres to Hamilton, who might be able to get a better drive out of turn 1 or turn 2, should we say, the chicane. And is he able to stay in that slipstream of Piastri? He is close behind. Look at that. Less than a tenth behind him. I think Hamilton's going for a move here. They're definitely side by side. And has Hamilton been able to get past Piastri down into T4? He has. Has he been able to hold on to it? They seem to be going very slow through turn 4. I think they went side by side through the chicane there. Oh my God. Great racing by those two if that was the case. And it definitely seems to be because, wow. You would have think that Piastri would have backed out of that, but I assume Piastri was probably on the inside there and Hamilton had to go round the outside and give way, and they lost a bit of time to the cars ahead. But importantly there, as likely what it was with Perez, who is now making a move on Carlos Sainz. As we say that, at the bottom of your screen, you will see Sainz and Perez are side by side as they go into the first corner. And Perez just holding back just a little bit and not got an opportunity just yet. But he's got a good drive out of the first chicane. Is he going to be able to overtake Sainz down into turn 4? We know how treacherous this is. If you stick it on the inside, most likely you're able to hold on to the position. And he has been able to, as we go back down to the bottom of your screen again, and Hamilton over the back of Piastri, who has cheekily been able to regain that DRS from Norris. That was what I was about to say before I got interrupted by the Perez battle. And Hamilton, though, much better traction here. Look at that out of turn 2. This is a much easier overtake for Hamilton, I think, into turn 4 than last time around. They actually had to take to the escape road last lap around. That's why they went so slow. And Hamilton, this time around, holds on to the position and makes the move stick. Woo! Ocon probably out. Yeah, probably. So, yeah, there we go, guys. Hamilton up into P7, P8 now. And, well, that I was going to say, Piastri got separated, I think, from Norris with the DRS, but regained it. So I'm just watching the Perez and Sainz battle again into T1. And Perez, this time around, as I say that, has... Oh, no, hang on. Bit of a delay in the track mapper. Let's see. Perez, this time around, no, not able to get past Sainz once again. So, yeah, Sainz just has... He is positioning his car very well on the TV coverage. He's sticking it on the inside. Trying to go around the outside here is tough. There's certain ways, but if you want a slower car here, even though Monza is a very quick track, but you're able to position your car, but makes things very difficult for you to be able to make the overtake stick. You really do need that tyre delta and that grippier tyre to be able to really make the outside move stick and get around the outside. If you haven't got that, great racing from Piastri and Ham. Oh! 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 Piastri and Hamilton actually made contact. Piastri has picked up a puncture, and that's why he's in the pits. I did not realise that was the case. So, as you can see there, turn 4 incident noted between Piastri and Hamilton. Hamilton's right rear hit Piastri's, and Piastri actually got a puncture from that. They took to the escape road, and Hamilton was far enough ahead that he's held onto the position. Seems like he hasn't suffered any damage. And, well, Hamilton, a very lucky boy there. Both of them lucky, really, but that wasn't a bigger crash, to be perfectly honest. So we'll see if Hamilton has suffered any damage from that and any loss in time. So, but he seems to be sticking to the back of Norris, relatively speaking. But wow, I did not think that was the case. Woo. We will see, George. We will see. So it might be that Hamilton moved back over too early to try and open up that chicane as much as possible. Which do you remember Leclerc and Hamilton a couple of years ago when Leclerc won and Hamilton was going for that move on the outside and Leclerc cut move too far over to like open up the chicane. It's kind of like that. That's kind of, and Hamilton had to avoid it. That's very similar to what happened. So we're just watching it now, replay. On board with Piastri. Oh yeah, that's on Hamilton. Yeah, that's Lewis's fault. Lewis might get a penalty for that. I think that's a penalty for Lewis. Lance Stroll, is he going slow? No, he's all right. He's all right. I think Lewis would be lucky to get away with a penalty there. We'll see. We've seen that, especially with Leclerc in the past, although he drives for Ferrari, been let off for it. But we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be given one for that, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. It's just a misjudgment from Lewis. And he's very, very fortunate that he ended up with no damage. This multi-viewer. Probably penalty for Ham because the race directors have beef. I mean, in fairness, if I do sim racing, guys, and if someone did that to me, and I have had that done to me, actually. If someone did that to me and my races ended because of it and they've been able to continue on, I would... and a 5-second time penalty for Lewis Hamilton. I said it. Yeah, so basically, if I was Piastri in that situation, I'd feel very aggrieved. And I feel like I've been in that position in sim racing a good few times before as well. I've been on the receiving end of moves like that, and it's a shame. But I see it. It's a misjudgment from Lewis. He's not perfect, so. No, not bully Hamilton. It's just these cars, you have to remember, these cars, the visibility in them is the worst it's ever been in F1. These cars are massive. They can't see over the wheels of the car into the apex. The fact that they hit the apex so regularly is amazing to me, to be perfectly honest. And the thing is that as Perez has now got ahead of Sainz there, guys. Perez has got ahead of Sainz down into T1, and is Sainz going to be able to get back at Perez here? He's definitely going to have a go. Sainz definitely going to have a go at Perez back into turn 4. And it's another return to sender from Carlos Sainz there. And whew, Carlos Sainz maintaining that second position just a bit longer. Albon holding onto position from Lewis Hamilton as Hamilton has got past Norris. Of course, Hamilton needs to get a move on now. Get past Albon and create a 5-second gap to be able to maintain a 6-second... to maintain, obviously, that 6th place. Sorry, not 6 seconds. But yes, sorry, what I was saying. I can't remember what I was saying, you know. I remember. Lost my train of thought there. How did Lewis get a 5-second time? Sorry, visibility in the cars. The visibility in the cars, these cars are very, very wide, and it's so easy for them to misjudge it. That's why you see, obviously, a bit of contact when they go wheel to wheel. They're the widest cars, they're the longest and widest F1 cars in history. They can't see over the tyres because the tyres are so big. Yeah. Oh, Perez got past again with Carlos Sainz. Let's have a look. The reason Sainz got past Perez back through Curva Grande last time around into turn 4 is because Sainz, obviously Perez had not enough room with trying to overtake Carlos Sainz and had to take to the escape road. But Perez now into P2, and are we going to see a battle now? Fair battle between Leclerc and Sainz. This will be interesting because Perez is pretty quickly going to pull away from Sainz and not leave him with any DRS. Oh, it'd be a bit of I wonder if the Ferraris will allow their team to fight, or will they just say hold station and secure the podium? Visibility problem is for everyone. Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but I'm saying the reason he's moved over, it's fine margins. The reason he's moved over, like any racing driver does, is to open up the corner once you feel like you've got the move done. But it's just a misjudgment. Like, they've got a lot of blind spots in these cars. But it was a deserved penalty. So there we go. Stroll once again showing his class of getting overtaken. Yeah, beaten once again by Alonso. So Leclerc all over the back of Sainz here, who doesn't have DRS, and Leclerc is going to get Sainz. How defensive is Sainz going to get here down into T1? Can he even fight it? I don't think he can. No, 2.5 attempts behind his teammate Leclerc, and it was an easy overtake by Leclerc with DRS. Oh, I say that. I do say that. Sainz has just got up there side by side. The two Ferrari drivers are side by side through Curva Grande. Are they going to throw away a podium as they go into turn 4? And Sainz has held the position. But Leclerc's coming back at him. What are they doing? What are they doing? I mean, he's providing us drama, but... oh my God. They were that side by side, but the interval crashed out. He couldn't read it. Oh my God. We want to go back to cars like the V10 era, would be a better option for visibility side. I would love to see the V10 era back with slightly smaller cars. It creates better racing because there's more room. They have more room on the track to race. Tracks like Monaco become interesting again because the cars have outgrown certain tracks. That's why we're seeing so many of the cars. Oh, Leclerc locked up into T1. That's what happens. That's what gave Sainz the drive. Oh my God, Sainz, you are so close to Leclerc there. They nearly gave a puncher. I'm just watching it. They went side by side through Curva Grande. Oh my God. Not what the Ferrari team expected to see. Oh my God. Then Sainz locked up into turn 4 and Leclerc nearly hit him. Oh my God. They're kind of going side by... No, they weren't going side by side there. But as I was saying, the smaller cars will create better racing because there'll be more racing room through corners and they'll be able to go side by side for longer. We don't get that now with these cars. While they're the quickest in history, we don't get that because... well, they're not quite the quickest in history, but they are like up there. They're quicker, but ultimately, the cars get shoved off all the time and that because the cars just don't have enough room to go. There's not enough room on the track, racing room, sometimes through certain corners. So, but Red Bull with a 15% decrease in aero testing is still overpowered. Oh yeah, well this is the thing is that penalty became irrelevant because they've got so much of an advantage at the start of the new regulation set. So yeah, I'm always been a big advocate for an initial penalty, which is like a ballast penalty. So they would have had. Martin Brundle said a while ago that every 10 kilograms of fuel relates to a second of lap time. So you could put a couple of kilogram ballast in these cars, and that would affect them enough to bring them back to the pack. A cost cap penalty, yeah, it's the aero testing penalty for a team that's so far ahead already. This doesn't mean enough. Right, so Hamilton now is going to be on the charge. Only 3 laps left. He is 3.0 seconds ahead of Albon at the moment, who is going side by side with Norris. Norris and Albon side by side there as Norris finally overtakes Albon into turn 1. And Albon, unfortunately, defensive masterclass has just run out of steam there with 3 laps remaining and, well, could be under attack from Alonso. But I do say that maybe Norris has to give the position back to Albon. I think the same thing has happened again, but we've seen a lot here at Monza today, is that Norris has overshot the corner and had to give the position back to Alex Albon. So the defensive masterclass is still on. And all the while, this is helping Hamilton because he needs to gain a 5-second gap on P7, who currently is Alex Albon, to maintain that 6th position. Whew. Aston should throw out Lance Stroll and bring on Albon. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad shout. I think they might go for Felipe Drugovich. I think you'll see Lance Stroll give up before he's chucked out. That's for sure. So, Leclerc and Sainz once again side by side. Look at that. Sainz back ahead of Leclerc. They are going at it, guys. Going at it. The Ferrari's giving us some proper entertainment here at the end of this race. But let's start a poll. I'm going to have a poll for driver of the day, guys. Literally DOD. Who is your driver of the day? I'm trying to think who else could be driver of the day, to be perfectly honest. There's not too many. Who else we got here? Who's the biggest gainers today? Not many. Not many big gainers today. I think that's about it, to be perfectly honest, guys. Let me know what you think about that or other. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. I can't think of any other three, to be perfectly honest with you. Is the curse going to repeat itself? We're on the final lap, guys. We are now on the final lap of this race. So we've just hit over the 2,000 viewer mark. So much appreciated to everyone who is in the stream today. If you can hit the like button, help get this stream as many likes as possible. It helps push the channel. And if you can also hit the subscribe button if you're new here. I know I've had a number of subscribers fly in recently. A big shout out to everyone there. Aaron, Fayaz, ECMY, Motorsport, Riley, Tarun, and anyone else who has subscribed and it hasn't showed up as an alert. Big thank you to you all. It has been, do you know what? It's been one of the more interesting Monza races, I feel. We still have the Sainz and Leclerc battle going on. Sainz does deserve a podium here today, in my personal opinion. I think he's been the stronger of the two Ferraris all weekend. As Albon now 6 seconds behind Hamilton. So Hamilton is going to be safe from losing any further positions with that 5-second time penalty. Norris has been stuck behind Albon all race. Come on, Albon. Come on. Sorry, bit of bias there, guys. Bit of bias. As Verstappen is coming around the last corner now, and that is going to be the record. The Monza curse has been broken, and Max Verstappen is your Italian GP winner. 10 races in a row. That is a brand new record, breaking the record of Sebastian Vettel of 9 race wins, and that is still every single race this year won by Red Bull. Perez up. Whoa. The TV coverage, they had a big move at the end there by Sainz and Leclerc, but Perez in P2, Sainz in P3, Leclerc 4th, Russell in 5th. Hamilton coming around the corner now. Is Albon able to hold on to this position? He has one more corner and a short run down to the start-finish line. If the start-finish line was a bit further on, he might be under threat here. But Albon, with your defensive masterclass today, this Sunday on the 3rd of September, Albon in P7, holding off Lando Norris for God knows how many laps. Beats Alonso, and obviously they're coming together, Piastri in P11. What a result. What a 2 race weekends from Alex Albon in that Williams. Alonso in P9. Bottas doing very well, bringing it into the points, up 4 positions. Probably could be driver of the day, an underrated driver of the day, guys. Sargent in P12. Lawson P13. Good weekend from him. Solid performance. Zhou 14th. Stroll 15th. Gasly 16th. Hulkenberg and, well, the 2 Haas's there at the bottom. Only cars to be a lap down. It's all on. They're still racing. They've been lapped, haven't they? And then Ocon and Tsunoda retired. Terrible weekend for the Alpines and the Haas's. And there we go, guys. That is the end of your Italian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen, who else? Once again, yeah, Supermax. 10 wins in a row. A very mature performance today, I will admit, from Max. He waited, and he kept the pressure on Sainz. He made one effort, and he knew how Sainz defended, and he went, nah, I'm just gonna wait. And he got a good run on him, showed his nose, forced Sainz into a mistake, and then capitalised on that. And then it was just see you later, off into the distance. If I was to give driver of the day, mine would be Max today. I think that was a great drive from Max. A mature performance, one of his best that we've seen this season, to be honest, with the way that he handled it. Thanks, guys. No, much appreciated. Look, really glad that everyone enjoyed the stream for what it was worth. Nearly hit a PB. So over 2,000 of you in this stream is what we reached. Singapore Grand Prix. Yeah, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be back for that. Great circuit. Monique, thank you. Jaded, much appreciated. Yeah, anyone who's new to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Of course, I do sim racing content as well. I am an avid motorsport fan, sim racing fan, and of course, F1 fan. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it all. Now, thank you, Smooth. Thank you, Ramp. Love it. Much appreciated. I'll go put up a chest of drawers after this. That's how I'm chilling this afternoon from IKEA. Kachok, I'd have to disagree with you there. I don't think that was the most boring race of the season. I think there was a lot that happened there. Monza in years past has been very boring. Very, very boring. And that, I think, was very entertaining. Yes, Max won. But for the most part, at least the first half of the race, I thought it was intriguing. I thought there was a lot happening. Max was biding his time. But unfortunately, as was predicted, the Ferraris, with their lower downforce setup, just were not able to look after those tyres as good as the Red Bull has all season. And that's why that is a 1-2 for Red Bull. A very, very good performance from Perez today. A mature performance from Max. And look, the Mercedes were best of the rest. Not a strong weekend for them. Albon, yes, he lost a position. It says on there to Hamilton. But you know what? Bloody hell. Was that a double points finish for Albon in 2 weeks? Brilliant result for him. That's all right, good job. Well, look, Singapore. Hopefully, Singapore throws up something a bit different. Surely Red Bull got mechanical issues still in them. Surely. I thought that was enjoyable, Connor. I really did. Yeah, Singapore in a couple of weeks' time, guys. In that meantime, of course, I'll be doing my own content on sim racing. It's time for Ferrari getting number one. I think they are... Yeah, I think they're suffering with treating both drivers the same. Could Leclerc have maybe made up more position? Could Leclerc have made up more time on Max, or at least secured a P2 today? Possibly. It looked like it, that there was a stage in this race that Sainz was holding up Leclerc. Leclerc had probably looked after his tyres a bit better towards the end of the first stint. Yeah, but they just don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. Oh, 5-second time penalties for Carlos Sainz, by the way, guys. Causing a collision. No, Sargent. Apology. Oh, guys, I'm giving you all of it there at the moment. I saw SA and I thought it was Sainz. Sargent. Sargent just got a 5-second time penalty at the end. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I scared you all. Thanks, James. Thank you for all the subs flying in. Much appreciated. Who have we had recently? Nathaniel, Saul, Christina, Heino, Andrew, Paolo, Geordie. Much appreciated. Yeah, really big thank you to you all. So let's I'll have a look at Twitter afterwards, guys, as we always do. Will Leclerc have more race pace? I think so, AD. I think so. But it was intriguing to see Carlos Sainz, and it was good to see him fight really hard today. I don't think we've really seen that as Sainz at all since he's come to F1. We really saw a Sainz who was going, I'm getting this podium no matter what. He held off Verstappen for a period of time. He had a few moves on Leclerc. He was bolshy today, and I like that because Sainz has always been deemed as being a bit more of like the cooler heads, the calmer one of the two. And today we saw a feisty Sainz, and I'd like to see more of that in the future. The curse has been broken. Yep, the curse. Oh, X. Sorry, X time. Yeah. How surprised when Max on P1 for on a cup? Well, yeah. The car is so quick at the moment. They're so quick. They're so good with reliability. Max just has to be mature and patient with his racing, and make his moves stick. Had a Piastri didn't get a penalty, so Piastri had a move with Lewis, which unfortunately Lewis cut across him into the turn 4 chicane, and he just misjudged it. They came together and he got a puncture from it. Lewis very lucky not to avoid any damage, and Piastri had to come in and pit. So that's why he finished in P12. Hamilton got a 5-second time penalty from that for causing a collision, rightfully so. It was a misjudgment on his part, and he was able to create a gap to Alex Albon for that deficit, or that penalty not to mean anything. So there was a few incidents today, actually. There was a few incidences that could have resulted any other day a car flying off into the barrier, and we could have seen a safety car that would have really spiced things up a bit. But it wasn't to be. But I still think with the strategy, the tyres as well, I think people were definitely struggling with the tyre deck today. A lot higher than they foresee it to be. Hence why we saw some of the teams further down the midfield make a two-stop, like Lawson finished P11 with a two-stop at Monza, which never really is the case. And then he ended up, I think that's what we saw, a lot of lockups down into T1. We saw some brave moves and people kind of saying they were forced off as well. So I thought that was one of more of the interesting Monza races we've had in recent times. Max is turning into complete driver. Yes. I'd still, I am going to hold back on that just a touch. And the reason I say that is because I still would like to see at least one more time a championship or a year where Lewis gets a car that's on equal footing with Red Bull and see how they go wheel to wheel. Because I still think there's a psychological thing there between Max and Lewis, or that Lewis has on Max. I think with other drivers, Max is definitely, especially with other drivers around his age, I think he's a lot more mature. When it comes to Lewis, there's something psychologically that, I don't know, just switches in him. And I will say he's a complete driver if we see the Max we saw today, if Hamilton has that opportunity to go against him again. But yeah, he's definitely very, very close, that's for sure. Don't be done with F1, Alfie. Don't be done with it. Look, F1, it's a very dominant year, unfortunately, for kind of just general F1 fans. If you're a Max Verstappen fan, happy days. He's about to win his third World Championship in a row. But we do want... I personally have never had any issues with a driver dominating or a team dominating. My issue is how the domination occurs. So if you think of Mercedes' dominance, they at least had... I think there was only maybe like 2 years out of those 8 years where, okay, you could probably say they were boring years. But the other times, you had Lewis versus Nico, you had Lewis versus the Ferraris, then you had the Red Bulls. And we always had other teams winning races. And this time, Red Bull were just a league of their own, and they've got a driver who's in a league of his own. They quite evidently want a second driver. It'd be interesting to see if Danny Rick joins next year. If they're still that far ahead, if they're allowed to fight and stuff, I don't know. And if Danny Rick's still got it, but I think Danny Rick will be there at Red Bull next year, and I think that's what we want. I don't care if Max wins every single race. I just want there to be a challenge for him every single race, not him breezing into the distance. Today was a bit of a challenge for him. He still kind of made it easy, and we still expected him to win. But at least there was more to it. If you get what I mean, like so. 2021 is a rarity in F1. That's the thing. We might not get that, especially with the state of affairs at the moment. We might not get that for a couple more years, unfortunately. And what's happened, which is a real shame. Craig, thank you for the sub, buddy. What is a real shame, actually, is that the cost cap era, where it was brought in to and designed to bring teams back together, to bring competition closer, is actually probably having the opposite effect, because Red Bull is so far ahead and they've absolutely nailed it with their car. Mercedes and Ferrari can't go spend 300, 400, 500 million to rectify the issue and bring in effect what would be a brand new car at the next race. They have to stick with their concept for the year. So that's the thing with like Mercedes. They can't fully change the whole car until next year because they're limited with the cost cap. So yeah, it's just the way that it's played out. But you have to give credit to Red Bull. They've absolutely nailed it, and it's up to the other teams to catch up to them. Man, G, look, there's no sour grapes here, buddy. There's no sour grapes. I just want to see competition. It's like with football. I don't like seeing a team win every single football match. I want them to struggle to win. I want there to be competition. I want there to be... It's so much more entertaining as well when a title race goes down to the last day of the season, or at least the last couple of races or last couple of days of the season. I want that level of competition. And what we've had in previous times, at least with Mercedes, people go back to Mercedes dominance, and even like Vettel's dominance as well. There was at least other teams who had wins in that time, who looked like they could challenge the big team, the dominant team of that time. Max Verstappen is very much in like a Michael Schumacher era at the moment. Michael Schumacher had a teammate he absolutely obliterated, was the #1 driver. No matter where you put him on the grid, you expected him to win the race by 20 odd seconds. And that's what we're seeing at the moment. And people who are newer to F1 have never experienced that before. And Max himself is even getting bored of it. Max himself has even said, like, that's why you hear him say, I'm not going to be in F1 for long if it's like this. Like, he enjoys winning, but there's a manner in winning. You want to fight for the wins. Even in sim racing, winning a race from start to finish where you don't, like, you beat everyone and you're the fastest by 20 odd seconds, actually isn't that enjoyable. You look at it and you go, yeah, I won. But it's very short-lived enjoyment. So, Vettel had pretty close seasons in there. Yeah, exactly. He had his, I mean, after he won 9 races in a row, there was chopping and changing of winners all over the place. So, people don't like talk about 500 million spending by Merc. Well, yeah, Red Bull spent 500 million as well. So did Ferrari. There were other teams there who were spending millions of pounds, and they weren't able to compete with Mercedes. So it's what you do with that money as well. But yeah, look, it is what it is, and it's down to the other teams to catch up. So Mercedes weren't as dominant as Red Bull at their peak. I think they were. The difference between is that, so Mercedes were still winning races by 30 odd seconds, 40 odd seconds, lapping half of the field, like you've seen the Red Bull now. The difference is that it wasn't one driver who won every single race and dominated. Lewis had Nico, who was very, very good, an eventual world champion. You had some mega battles between Lewis and Nico. Lewis then also had Bottas, who was no slouch either. Yes, he never won a world championship, and over the course of a season, Hamilton completely outperformed him. But Bottas had weekends where he dominated. Lewis couldn't get anywhere near him. He had like grand slams where he was fastest in every practice session, fastest in qualifying, fastest in the race, and like for a period of time looked like he might be able to take it to Lewis, but eventually it never turned out to be the case. And there were also races though where Lewis also completely outclassed Bottas. But at the moment, Max is just so dominant to his teammates, and it's a credit to him. And it's also a credit to his management as well, guys. Like, I don't think you realise... Sorry, I'm in a bit of a... Just talking at the moment. I'll catch up with messages in a second. F1 is a political game. So if you was an F1 driver, I would not want to go into a team where I'm number 2 or I've got equal footing with another driver, especially if you're like a top-ish driver, right? So if you're like already been in F1 for a little while and you're looking to get into a top team, you do not want to be the second driver. You don't even want to be given equal footing. You quickly want to go into a team and get the preferential treatment, get the preferential pit stops, get the upgrades first, play the political game, and position yourself in a team where you get that preferential treatment. And Verstappen has done that brilliantly, because it also helps he's a mega quick driver if he's able to solidify that and push that. But every driver who's come in is, no matter what PR nonsense they give, Max is #1 driver. And this is what other teams, the likes of Ferrari, are struggling with at the moment. It's actually a detriment to them having Sainz and Leclerc as equal drivers. It's what Mercedes, Russell is you see Russell is definitely trying to push Hamilton. He knows Hamilton because he's been there so long and because of his accolades. He is evidently, they won't say there's a #1 driver, but Hamilton is the #1 driver. That's why Russell's trying to push himself as well. And you'd want that as an F1 driver. And that's what Max has been able to do. So fair play to the team. People will pay back on the Supermax nonsense as soon as he eclipses all the accomplishments of Lewis Hamilton. Have to erase that mark on the sport, right? We paid back on the Supermax as soon as the eclipses. I don't have to raise that mark on the sport. No. Oh, I get what you mean. No, I generally don't think. I don't think the dominance will last that long for Max and Red Bull for him to get close to that. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I don't think anyone ever thought Lewis Hamilton would get to close to Schumacher's records and Senna's records and stuff like that. So records are there to be broken, and look, if he does it, fair play. I just want to see other drivers and other teams take it, for there to be a fight at the top, for there to be championship contenders, to sit there and go, oh my god, how good is it that we've got like these two going at it over the course of a season, and it goes to the end of the season, rather than it being wrapped up by the summer break, which it has been the last couple of seasons. So probably will last as long as Adrian Newey doesn't retire to a beach. Every time Max goes to a team, it just shows who he is. That's why he's a #1 driver. Yeah, and the best drivers do that. And I think Lewis stamped his authority as being the #1 driver. Well, we'll say that. I think Lewis stamped his authority as being the fastest driver in the Mercedes team pretty quickly. But there was always that, because Nico had been there longer and because Nico was German in a German team, I think there was also that element around it as well. But the quickest drivers quickly stamped their authority down as being the #1 driver on merit. Max has done that. Fernando Alonso has done that. What other teams here at the moment? Alex Albon has done that. Ferrari at the moment, you could argue Leclerc should be the #1 driver, but his performances haven't necessarily made him stamp his authority down as being the #1 driver. And I think that's why Sainz still gets a bit of an equal treatment. So Alonso has done that. I mean, he is Daddy Stroll's team and he is Baby Stroll. But yeah, I think I mean, let's be honest, like Stroll's not going anywhere anytime soon, but Alonso is definitely #1 there. Can't deny that. Disagree. Max have had Gasly, Albon with nothing to lose attitude to go after him, but the guys always showed being better than them. Max has spent 3 years chasing Hamilton and Bottas. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that they came in. I think Red Bull's a very high-pressured environment as well. There's a very big high-pressured environment. Every team runs differently, just like every football team runs differently, and every sports team and every business, like, could be in the same industry doing exactly the same thing, but they run completely different ways. So, Lewis Kuzma says sabotage that season. Well, it'd be interesting to see what Lewis is. I'm sure he's going to do a tell-all book at some point when he retires. He's got to, because that year is very intriguing, because his whole engineer team switched sides of the garage, which was a bit iffy. And I've heard stories that it got very, very toxic between them in that team. So, and I think that's why Nico retired when he did. He's like, I'm one and done. That's it. I'm one and done, because I can't handle this toxic atmosphere for another year. Like, nah, I'll go out on a high and leave it all to Lewis and stuff. So, there's ever been a teammate for Max who has actually beaten him. The only one I think you can really say who was probably on a level playing field was Danny Rick. Obviously, they had some comings together, didn't they? Most notoriously Baku. And I think that's why Danny Rick left. Danny Rick left because he saw... His story will be interesting as well one day. But I think he left because he quite evidently saw that the team was shifting in a direction towards Max. Even though they still liked him and they wanted to keep him, he saw a shift in direction that preferred Max. Danny Rick is slightly older. Max is the up-and-coming youngster. Like, won his first race in Red Bull. And that's why he moved. He moved because he's like, well, I can quite evidently see, while I am still quick enough, I'm not the #1 driver here. As much as that horseshit they give me, I'm gonna move to another team, and that's why he moved to Renault, wasn't it? Where he became the #1 driver. It wasn't the right career move for him, but you don't know what he's probably seen on the inside. When Yeah. Carl had the worst end of 2018 when his car kept failing, leading him to break mentally in Japan. Yeah. Daniel Max was just being friendly, but I think if they actually fight, Max could beat him. Oh yeah, I think there's no doubt that Max has developed as a driver, most definitely, and he's super quick, and he's one of the quickest drivers in ever in F1. There's only a few people who can properly take it to him on the grid for outright pace, and Danny Rick, yeah, he had a lot of reliability issues, didn't he, in that year? And I think he just got like, really, really down on it and just went, oh, that's just gonna I'm just gonna move. If he had like good performances, or if he had like the car worked okay and he didn't have those reliability issues, he probably would have been. It might have swayed his decision to stay and go, okay, I'll give it another year. I'll sign a new contract. But when you're already thinking about the team is preferring one side of the garage to yours, or the other side of the garage to yours, and then those happen, even though those things are like out of your control, your mind does funny things, doesn't it? And probably made him think, nah, fuck this, I'm out, I'm going. So, oh, here he is, Dutch UK Racing, Marky Mark, yes. What is the story behind the engineers at Merc? The story is that basically after Lewis won the first 2 championships at Mercedes in 2014-15, they switched the personnel of Lewis. So Nico and Lewis's side of the garage, the engineers, the people who work on his car and stuff, they switched and gave it to Nico. And the story is that was calculated. It was done to give Nico. I think Nico really wanted it. I think he pushed for it. He was like, well, I want every single advantage that I can get. If I can get Lewis's team, like, I'll have his team or whatever. Just trying to gain every little advantage that he can. And I think Mercedes I think generally as well, I think the higher ups at Mercedes went, look, we've got a German driver. We're a German manufacturer. The British guy has won 2 titles in a row. Do you not think it's now time for our German driver in our German team to have a world championship? Like, and I think, and the rumours are that Nico got a lot of assistance. That year. And then really, it was only because it still came down to the last race of the season, and it was only because Lewis's engine blew up while he was 25 seconds ahead of Nico in the lead at Malaysia, and he lost maximum points, that he didn't win that championship. Otherwise, Lewis still would have won the championship. So, yeah. That's basically it, and I think one day it will all come out with Hamilton saying something with a tell-all book or something along those lines. So let's remove that cap, seeing as it's not yielding the desirous. 100% English. He is a racing talent. He's a once in a generational talent. He really is. Like, he's mega. He's so quick, so quick. As we just said, there's only a couple of guys on the grid who can keep up with him in equal machinery. So, or with a car that's like similar in pace anyway. Personal poll: is Hamilton a bully? In what sense of the word? What you think he's a bully in the team or on the track? I mean, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know anyone personally within Mercedes, so I don't know how he goes about his business. Whether if he has that kind of, but on the track, I would say no. I don't think he is a bully. Oh, thanks, mostly. Well, this is why I do these streams. I mean, I love having this back and forth with you guys. I mean, as much as I love my missus' company, and she enjoys F1 as well, sitting there and having this back and forth with her, this conversation is very different. So, I just love chatting F1. So, Rosberg was there years before him. He was on track, but also in the team, trying to pull the team towards him. Well, as we said, I think every driver does the same. Every driver does it. there are only 20 spots on this grid, and if you're lucky enough to be there in the first place, you know how fickle F1 can be. You want to go in there. F1 is just as much about the political side and how you position yourself, rather than like the career game, as it is being quick out on track. And you, no matter what team you're in, you want to be the #1 driver so that you're able to showcase what you can do, so that you can get the preferential treatment, so that you can potentially move your way up from a lower team into a top team who's competing for race wins and championships. And then even when you get there, you quickly want to stamp your authority and get into a position where you're the #1 driver. So yeah, that's what Drive to Survive has kind of done, is it's really highlighted the shenanigans that go on behind the scenes, which we never really saw. We heard about it, but unless you was part of the grid, unless you was in F1, you didn't really know how kind of snidey and shady it can get. That McLaren was some machine. Yeah. Schumi was notorious as being the worst enemy of his teammates, Massa and Nico, and said, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's it happens. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm sure Max does some stuff as well. He hates losing. Max hates losing. And as I say, every driver in F1, the first person you want to beat is your teammate. So you don't want to be. You can like them as much as you like. You can be friends with them off the track. You want to beat them. And that's exactly with Max and Checo. But Max held a grudge all year last year against Checo because of Monaco. Because he knew Checo purposefully spun up the rear tyres, spun his car and pulled out the red flag at Monaco. That stopped Max from getting pole position. That meant he started behind Perez. Perez had track position on Max, and Perez then eventually won that race. Max held on to that all year, even though Max won that title by summer break, and when it came to Brazil, he still went, "Fuck you." No, like, you know why I'm not letting this guy past. Like, so F1 drivers will hold on to things and they'll remember things, and they want to win at every cost. They don't want to give their drivers, don't want to give their teammates any inkling that they're better than them. Marlin, in a bit, mate. I'm still streaming, so we'll catch up after, okay? Yeah, it was unfair. Max done like unfair since he was. New subscriber, I think I'll be sticking around his channel for long. Great stream, very natural. Word like to... Oh, thanks, Spaceman. Yeah, I'm Stuffey on Twitter, or X as it's now called. So yeah, just go give me a follow on there, buddy. Instagram as well. I don't tweet too much, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I feel like you're a tweeter or you're not a tweeter. Some people are really active on Twitter and then they don't do any other social media. I kind of sometimes put stuff online there, but I'm more obviously YouTube, actually creating content than just airing my thoughts. If I air my thoughts, it's here, like on stream. So, wasn't Alonso fighting Lewis and the whole McLaren back in 2006, 2007? Yes, he purposely sat Hungary. He sat in the pit box after the tyres were put on his car, so that Lewis would not have enough time to do one final lap. That is how spicy it got at McLaren. We're between Alonso and Hamilton, because Alonso was this 2 times world champion, getting it taken to by a rookie, and that was supposed to be his year that he won the championship and became a triple world champion. And to be honest, one of the McLarens most definitely should have won that championship that year. They lost out on a point to Kimi Räikkönen, and because of their shenanigans, they missed out on it. Otherwise, they would have won that probably quite comfortably. Somehow that doesn't exist between Leclerc and Sainz. this is it. You never know. They can all be friendly in person, but you know what it's like. There's sometimes it's like in it's PR stuff. So like, even, you know, like when you're at work in your day-to-day jobs, there'll be people that you go, I'm sure everyone's done it, where you've gone, oh, you're right, mate. Oh, I had a laugh at this person, and then you turn around and you're like, I cannot stand that person. Cannot stand them. And it'll be exactly the same in F1 as well. They look all nicey, they look all pally online. And then when it comes to, or like on the PR stuff, and then when it comes behind closed doors, it's like, I can't stand that guy. Checo deserves his flowers. He's done a decent job. Well, he's done what Red Bull, he's done kind of what Red Bull wanted from him. They would have liked Perez to perform better and get more podiums, I think. He's dropped off a lot this season. But overall, he does a job. They've got Max, who's in great form. Knows he's like so in one with that car. They know that Perez, like Max, can win that championship on his own, like the constructors. So they know that Perez only needs to chip in with podiums every now and then, and that's good enough for him. So I've been seeing a lot of Max's racing on iRacing lately, and it's amazing to see what he does in this, and it's amazing to see what he does in this sim for sure. Yeah, I mean, you do. It's just not just Max though. There's certain driving styles that you see replicated. Who's the popular driver of the time? You see it replicated in sim racing and that. So, Lewis did refuse to give Alonso a tow earlier, but it was pretty overreaction from a toxic builder. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many things I assume that will come out. I mean, there's the story. There's the story actually. Mark Priestley used to be a McLaren engineer, and he was working with McLaren at that time. And he said in his book, Alonso came round and gave brown envelopes. He came round and gave brown envelopes to Lewis's side of the garage with money as basically a bribe to, yeah, you're right, you're sweet, like, help me out. That is open knowledge. That is open knowledge. He gave money to the other side of the garage to help him. This is against a rookie. Mob boss Alonso. It is, yeah, it's wild. That's a wild story. It's crazy. Like, Alonso was just on a mission back in. It got so toxic. It's and you can see that when they went wheel to wheel with each other as well. But yeah, no, it was great times. I wish we had those times back with those cars and that, where they're a bit smaller, louder. I generally think the racing would be better than it has been in the last few years. Yeah, I haven't read it, but I listened to when he was doing that promote. He was appearing on a few podcasts when his book was coming out, and that was one of the stories he told. And he was like, yeah, he told some good stories about Kimi Räikkönen as well, because he went away with Kimi Räikkönen a few times when he was a Ferrari, and he was just like party animal Kimi Räikkönen. Party animal. There's some good stories between him and Kimi Räikkönen, which to be expected from Kimi, to be honest. But yeah, right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. What a stream that has been. Is that the one? Hang on. Do you know what I'm gonna do on here? Give me a sec. Oh, I am gonna call it a day. Thank you to everyone who has sticked around and listened to me ramble on about F1 for the last, well, half an hour after the race is finished. Yes, definitely, Mark, definitely. I am now going to have a nice cup of coffee to wind down. I've got to put together a nice chest of drawers, cook a roast dinner, and then I'm going to plan to do my own 100% F1 Grand Prix at 8 PM this evening, but I'll also be streaming. So if you want to tune in and watch me attempt to race around Monza, you can on iRacing, one of their special events that they run throughout the year. So yeah, no, really enjoyed that. Thank you to all of you new subscribers who are new to this channel. If you can hit the like button on your way out, and yeah, I think that was a good Monza race, guys. On to Singapore, eh? Try to beat you. What? Try not to crash into you this time, Mark. That's the aim. But yeah, no, everyone have a lovely rest of your Sunday, wherever you are in the world. Have a, yeah, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening. Thank you, guys, and I will be back this evening to do, yeah, my own attempt. And yeah, we'll also, if you're not going to return until the Watchalong, which will be in a couple of weeks' time for the Singapore Grand Prix. I'll see you then. So big thank you, guys. See you then. Bye.